96 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
It's a new week. It's Monday, September 19th, 2022, and you're checking in with Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program is Brian Dacus in his CD Lamb jersey. Very prideful.
Go
Brian,
Cowboys.
hello.
Go Cowboys.
Cooper Rush, your new fave, new GOAT?
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
I have some things to say about Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott, but
Gotcha.
I'll save them.
Okay. And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He won't save anything. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter, at Brett Norsworthy. How was your trip to our favorite place in Atlanta, the Omni Hotel?
It was great. I paid your personal property tax
Okay, good.
there. And
Thank you.
Said hello to you and Rob Fisher and ready for y'all to be back there. It could be a while before I'm back there. It's been a lot of Atlanta trips the last few years. And on Friday night, guys, I saw the future. What the Braves have done with Battery Park and that ballpark.
How nice is Truist?
Off the charts.
Yeah.
I would beg baseball fans in this area, even if you're not a fan of the Braves, go. It is worth it. That setting is just perfect. Every restaurant delicacy you can think of, they have in that area, and it was packed and teeming. And then the team on the field,
Yes.
The Braves can go back to back.
So you saw Albies in his return from the IL.
And then he
goes
the
right
next night.
Yeah, and he fractures his finger.
You know how and why he got hurt. And it's probably the biggest thing Brighton I've ever disagreed on.
He didn't have his hand protector?
Oh, the mitt.
He didn't have his hand protector.
Didn't have it on. Sliding hands first.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Slide with your feet. As Mike Shannon says, you have switchblades on the bottom of your feet.
It's fair. Or you can just wear the double mitts at all times.
I don't know. I feel like in
Double mitts?
in certain situations, sliding head first saves you time. It's quicker.
Now, the bigger bags will help.
That will help a lot, yeah.
Because these guys know they have to stay on it because they're always touching.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're ever off the bag, the replay is going to get you.
This really does hurt his war against hand protectors, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Dang.
No, slide feet first. You don't need hand protectors, or you won't
Fair
be
point,
injured.
yeah.
Unless you're Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle, don't go in head first.
I've seen people tear up their ankle, slide feet first, too.
I have too, but your ankles are a lot stronger than your hands, wrist, and fingers. Lou Brock never went in head first. It was always that hard pop-up slide.
Mm-hmm. I like the hand protector. I like the head first slide.
The
Ricky.
Hard nose. Play hard nose.
That's right.
And this about the
Balls
Phillies.
to the wall.
I don't think the Phillies are. I don't think they'll knock anybody out, but they could be a pesky in that 2 out of 3. They could push somebody to the limit in that third game. It blows my mind to see a guy hitting .215, weighing 265, be the leadoff hitter. I mean, in the old days, I mean, you might have somebody weigh
but he's
165, be the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, and he's got 39 bombs.
He does.
So
and
there
he
is
hit
that.
one on a line Friday night.
It gets out in a hurry.
It never got overhead high.
Yeah. And I thought for a
Cal
while
Sport.
Paul Goldschmidt could figure it out and catch up to him and potentially get this Triple Crown, but it looks pretty far. Aaron Judge, on the other hand, in the AL, Triple Crown race is real for him.
He's going for Triple Crown. We've got great baseball stories down the stretch, and then we're going to get into the best time of the year with baseball soon.
58 and 59, though, for Aaron Judge.
On pace to 65 now.
As I say, it looks like he'll get there. No, obviously, knock on wood if you're a Yankees fan, but it looks like we're
two moonshots
on the
yesterday
way
against Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, and what was he, 4 for 5?
Hitting 316.
Yeah, he only needs Luis Arias is the AL batting leader at 317. He's only 1 point below, and he's playing right now. The Twins.
Yes.
Twins are playing right now.
Yeah. Cleveland was leading earlier, scored 4 early, and then they were up 7-3. I hadn't looked at the score lately. Bryant's rapidly getting to it.
Yeah, as rapid as I can. Yeah, they're in the bottom of the 8th.
Nice.
Guardians up 8-4.
Okay, I got you. Well, we have a lot of college football and NFL football to talk today. First out of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. On the show today, we'll talk about Week 3 of college football. We'll talk about Week 2 of the NFL season, although we do have 2 more games. We have that doubleheader. ESPN and ABC, Titans at Bills, 6:15, right when we get off the air. Then Vikings at Eagles at 7:30. We will be carrying that Titans at Bills game right here on 560 AM, 98.5 FM. As far as our guests are concerned today, Tigers wide receiver, we do our Tiger player a week, Joe Skates, who has 3 catches for the Tigers, 2 for touchdowns, and both those touchdowns are over 50 yards. He has gotten involved in this offense, and it's mean a lot, but we're going to bring him on at 3:30 to discuss where the Tigers are at and how he's feeling at this moment. 4 o'clock, David Cobb joins us from CBS Sports, talk some college football, and maybe with what we're seeing from Amani Bates, maybe a little bit of college basketball as well. This Amani Bates story, Brett, doesn't look great at all. But there's more details coming out right now that I think it's a little too early to jump on. Is he going to be
I hope not.
okay? Is he going to be able to play this year? Is he not? I think it's a little too early to make those distinctions.
18 years old.
But he's got 2 felony gun.
A lot thrown at him.
He got charged with 2 felony gun crimes in the late hours of last night. So we will keep you updated on all that. Obviously, transferring away in Eastern Michigan, in Michigan right now.
Amani Bates world really cares about what life could be like for Amani Bates at 40, instead of just maybe what you can get out of him at 20.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens a lot in these situations with a young athlete that looks like a draft pick, that looks like they're going to make that amount of money. I don't know what this situation entails, who he's hanging around with if he's not with the right crowd, but I guess we'll just have to stay abreast and figure it out. But the fact that he had 2 felonies, 1 for possessing the gun and 1 for altering ID marks on a weapon. Anytime you have altered ID marks, I mean, I guess that's the serial number. That's never
Now,
okay.
his attorney saying he borrowed the car.
Yes.
Not his car, not his gun. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to bring on David Cobb to maybe talk that there at the end of college football. We have a bunch to get to. Arizona State loses to Eastern Michigan, and Herm Edwards, amid that NCAA investigation at Arizona State, is out. We'll talk to Dave about who he thinks could potentially fill that job. I've been, the wild card that got brought up to me this weekend, I guess not as much of a wild card since he did coach there before and he knows the area, but Mike Norvell's been brought up a fair amount.
You just wonder if a super big, life-changing, kind of program-changing offer by Arizona State. Arizona State's tried it all in football and in men's basketball with big names, prominent names, the perfect guy, the perfect background. Never has worked.
I have heard that a couple times, the Mike Norvell thing. He would be public enemy numero uno if he were to leave Florida State right now. So, I mean, they're
undefeated FSU.
Those fans would hold it against him for his entire life if he left that quickly.
Well, to his credit, or in his defense, he could say to them, y'all have questioned me, really hadn't supported me from day one here. Yeah. This has not been easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he barely made it to first game that first summer.
Yeah, it's been tough for him, but seems to have it on the right track now to a certain extent. Although it looks like they're going to be missing Jordan Travis for a while. So that might
his comments
hurt their
here,
offense a little bit.
Not to me, but to people a lot closer to him than I am, he told them he would have never left Memphis except for that job that he can win a national championship.
Can you do it at Arizona State?
Can you do it at Arizona State?
Compared to Florida State? I mean,
yeah.
No. That's the answer. We've seen it done at Florida State pretty recently, too. Obviously, before the college football playoff with Jimbo. We've actually talked about that a lot in recent weeks, but Arizona State's never done that. Never been in that conversation. So I agree with that sentiment. Also, 5 o'clock, we're going to talk some Tigers. Tiger football gets a big win, 44-32. And you know what's funny about that game is last year, 55-50, that game was not as close as the 44-32 game. It was a double-digit win, but it didn't feel like a double-digit win.
That's weird. That's new math, but you're right. The whole dynamic of it last year was, I don't think, ever in jeopardy. And Saturday was for a long time.
Down. With 5 minutes to go.
I'm going, no, this can't be happening.
I couldn't believe it, but I will say.
And then win.
And
comfortably.
So.
Which wasn't comfortable.
The positive note
here.
The positive note here, there was some issues getting into Liberty Stadium. So I get their issues. There's some people that did not like the scan counter or the scanning and all that and the wanding. They're wanding everybody that comes through. And I don't know if there's enough entrances to really feed people in there as quickly as you want. But I thought once the fans actually got in there, they made a massive difference on that last drive. Huge difference. 2 false start penalties and a messed up snap because of the snap count and the center and the quarterback not communicating correctly. I thought
12th man won the game.
I thought the fans won that game.
Richard Cross did the game on ESPN Plus, and he told me, the crowd after it got into the stadium brought it all night. You could tell that, and the crowd looked great. We didn't make a big deal last week at all about the crowd. It was sufficient to great. I think it should and will build over these next few weeks, that big Friday night game, like we've talked about really all summer. And to anybody out there, and if there are these people, this is fine. Oh, yeah, the Tigers are pretty good, and they're turned on to it now. Go buy some tickets. Yep. People ask me all the time, what can I do as little old bitty me out here in the public to maybe help in this college football transition? Go buy 2 or 4 tickets if you're of the means.
Go buy the 3-ticket package.
That's
3-ticket home package. If you don't want to go all of them,
and that would help as much as anything for these conference chieftains, these TV honchos, to see people like Saturday night trying to get into a game, to see demand.
Mm-hmm. And at 5:00, we'll talk to Evan Barnes about all that, everything. The Tigers look forward to 3 more games at home. They're going to have North Texas, they're going to have Temple, and then Houston. And Houston, by the way, I guess I'll give credit where credit's due to Kansas, but Houston got smacked around by Kansas at home. Smacked around.
I don't know.
And by the way, your rain delay thing, there was a rain delay. It did not help the away team there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so
we strike against
them. There you go.
I don't know what I'm more blown away by. Vandy and Kansas already over the season win total. I think I touted that all summer in FanDuel.
You did.
You did.
Over the 2.5.
Well, did you do Kansas or Vandy? I think it was
I
more.
did both.
I
did
both.
both.
Really?
Both, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He was on Vandy long.
I'll take Brian's word
I've
for
got
it.
Luke
I don't
Monroe
remember
out there
Kansas.
over 1.5. I'm still holding on
Who
it.
was the third one?
What are they right now?
Louisiana Monroe, 1.5.
Where are they at right now?
One.
They're 1? Okay.
One more. I'm in the chips.
More
Okay,
you're
there you
golden,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
Or this Saturday, and I don't know what their season over and under was, Duke also 3-0. And this week, Duke and Kansas, a battle of undefeateds in September. ESPN are sending Billis and Vitale in to do the game. They really should.
I dig it.
They should have the college game or the college game day basketball crew do the college game day for that game.
They should.
Speaking of college game day, how about that
fantastic.
Troy App State game and that ending?
It was like a movie.
Are
the
you
whole
kidding
day.
me? And by the way, I thought Luke Combs was fantastic.
3 weeks
I
in a
thought
row,
he
I
was
didn't know who
good.
get the game day.
You
pick
You don't know
was.
Luke Combs? Country singer?
I finally got it right.
Okay.
That it was a country artist.
There you go.
That was
If
pretty-
you
that
guess
was pretty
every
obvious.
week, you got to get right once. Right?
Country music, right?
Dude with a big old red beard.
Yeah.
From
I'd never heard of him until Saturday.
from North Carolina, down home North Carolina.
makes it even.
He's a
never heard
country
of me
singer?
either.
No way. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Nice. But I thought he was decent. I thought he was all right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But that ending was,
And
tipped around on a Hail Mary.
I didn't see that in Troy when I saw them opening weekend.
Yeah, I did. Well, everybody picked App State. Everybody picked App State. And they didn't cover, but they ended up winning that.
Rivalry games will do that.
So
to you.
I guess so,
for the sake of easy math, the first 2 weekends in college football, let's just say they were 10s. Okay.
Okay, right.
Just for the sake. What was this Saturday? What was this completed Saturday the 17th?
Ooh. Well, compared to first 2 weeks, I didn't see the.
That's the tough break.
Was it a
part.
massive drop off?
It wasn't massive,
didn't
but
feel
it
like
was
it.
not week
No,
1 and
there
2.
weren't as much highly touted matchups this week. I'd give it like an 8.
Now you let Missouri State beat Arkansas,
And that goes up.
or the U pulls the upset at
Yeah.
College Station. And I'm trying to think of maybe some other.
Well, we also expected Oregon BYU to be close, and that was
State wins at LSU.
Oregon smacked
they
them
had.
around.
But 2 10s, and it was probably an 8
Yeah.
or 7.
Yeah.
But the contrast hurt it.
I can't go
NFL
7.
yesterday 10.
Oh yeah, lights out.
I can't go 7. I think 8.5, 9
Yeah.
still
Okay.
fair for this week. I think there was some things in there sprinkled in there, but I get some of the premier matchups weren't as close, which is tough. Well,
But when you're down weekends at 8 or 9,
Yeah, I guess
pretty
so.
Good, pretty good weekend.
Yeah, you're all right there. You're all right. Real quick before I ask you about Ole Miss, did you see Nebraska? Everybody was picking Nebraska this week to
couldn't
stay within that number.
And the
so bad.
Scrappy little start.
I feel bad. I feel bad for Mickey Joseph. I feel bad for Mickey Joseph having to take over that thing with his being the first black coach in program history and
he took
athletic department history.
Played there.
Having to deal with that
nastiness.
There. Oh, it's tough. They just got smacked around.
The biggest crossroads ever for them. They've never been at this point, and you knew if it failed under Scott Frost, it would be almost at their wits' end. Almost, where do we go from here? And it feels very much. But that crowd turned out, even with it. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models. 23 starting to roll in, and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and you will be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, dang, I wanted to ask about Ole Miss before we got to top and not top story of the day. They ran the ball. I mean,
316. I thought they'd run for 350.
It doesn't really matter who's quarterback.
Could have won with never putting the ball in the
I was going to say, quarterback-wise, Jackson Dart's been okay, I guess, statistically, but it's not that big of a deal, really.
He made some step-into-it throws Saturday I hadn't seen yet. He's getting better.
Yeah.
He's getting better.
But that running back room and those O-linemen are ridiculous.
Oh, you would love that offensive line group, Gabe. Nick Broker.
And I thought Georgia Tech at least was stout enough up front to stick in there. No.
They were on their heels all day.
They just got whooped. And Zach Evans, Quinshon Judkins.
The Tech people were telling me the Ole Miss defense is better than the Clemson defense.
Yep, and they're finding guys to fill in those holes that were left by Chance Campbell, Mark Robinson last year. They're finding ways to make that happen. Now, obviously, I think they need to play against better competition. They're going to get that relatively soon here in 2 weeks versus Kentucky, and you're going to be. You're going to be dealing with them, but
Bright
you're at home.
Early, 11 o'clock game.
You're at home, luckily, but they've looked good. They've looked very good through 3 games. Now, my top story of the day, Arkansas State, Tigers. Tigers win 44-32. Very, very close game. The in-game situation, you have to give it up to the Memphis faithful, to the Memphis crowd. That was fantastic. Fantastic. You get to a 4th and 5. Tigers struggled in 3rd down all day, 4th down all day. You get to a 4th and 5 with James Blackman, who had made a few plays in those situations, and you get the team, you get them to jump off sides, to false start 2 different times, and then on the last play for them, really that really mattered, on that 4th and 15, they have an issue with the snap count, and it rolls past James Blackman. And the Tigers got the ball on the 9 from there to go score to put the game out of reach. I thought that was great. They got very loud and just caused a whole lot of issues for Arkansas State. But what we saw, takeaway, Seth Hittigan, still awesome. I do think there's something to be said, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. He needs to learn how to take a snap from under center. 2 weeks in a row where they've had issues with center quarterback exchange. Caden Prescorn, heck of a target for him. New tight end in there. He blocked really well, too, on the Seth Hittigan TD run. I think people need to look up and see him absolutely roaching a cornerback to spring Seth Hittigan free on that. But some of the negatives there. Run game, although statistically look good, still kind of lame. I think Jay Ducker needs to get more reps. In the defense, biggest thing. 2 things, really. Get pressure on the quarterback. That's a little smaller. But get off the field on 3rd down. 7 for 14 against Arkansas State, although I think they were improved, is far too much. And we've been seeing this rear its ugly head since last year. You lost games because you couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. The one that jumps off the page is Temple. DeJuan Mathis was dinking and ducking the whole night. And it felt like Arkansas State did a little bit of that. Tigers sort of screwed down as the game got in the later stages. But they need to improve that quickly.
My top story, I know we get to this point every year, and we may be getting to it a little earlier this year than normally, and it's a little bit myopic of how we look at the SEC. This is a big what if. But what if, and you take out Georgia and Alabama, how good's the other 12 if they were standing alone? Now, if you take out the top of every conference, that makes every conference look a little more pedestrian. Georgia appears to be in a league of its own this year. We thought that this last year, though, and we know what happened in the SEC championship game. But the SEC, we're going to praise it. It's going to win the big games. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But outside of those two, just that other 12 left to its own devices, how good is it? We'll find out.
Not top story of the day.
Georgia, though. My gosh. On the road. Beamer pulling out all the tricks on his own, inside his own 20, basically, doing a fake punt. Poor Spencer Rattler, but Spencer Rattler did the exact same things we've seen him do. A great, drops a dime and then throws a pick in the end zone that you can't even remotely explain.
Professional ball thrower, not a quarterback.
Yes, ball thrower. That's a great way of putting it because, my gosh. And also, we're going to have to talk about Brock Bowers later. We are going to.
Is he Heisman Trophy candidate?
I think there's some serious potential there. I think right now it's Stetson Bennett, though, from that team, which is crazy to think about.
Here's how you become a Heisman Trophy candidate. If people vote for you.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. That's correct.
And the award is for the best player in college football.
I look at Stetson and what he's put together, though, too. I mean,
you see that juke on the rushing touchdown?
That was ridiculous.
Most athleticism I've seen from him since he stepped foot on Georgia.
He really did go out this summer and get athleticism.
He did. I don't know where he bought it. I need to find it, though.
We always talk about the talent and the lack of talent with him. I mean, okay, maybe he doesn't have as much as some other guys. Anthony Richardson, guys in that comp. Will Levis. He doesn't have the same amount of talent, same physical attributes. But I don't know. The production this year is undeniable.
Impressive.
He's running the ball well. He's throwing the ball well. He's not making mistakes with the ball. I haven't seen him throw a ball in harm's way the entire year. So we'll see. I think Brock Bowers has a chance, but Stetson Bennett's leading that team right now when you look at Heisman odds, Heisman voting, and that type of potential. My not top story of the day, though, has to do with a former Tiger, Amani Bates. And obviously didn't go well here. A lot of issues with dad and everything else, with the coaching staff and how that all figured itself out.
But I something he wasn't capable of doing. That was a lot.
And again, and I think your point earlier about just the high hopes for him. Does anyone stop to ask him how he's feeling and how he's doing? I mean, he's had all this pressure on him since he was 10 years old. There's a lot of issues that can come with that. We've seen it in the past with childhood stars in general. But Amani Bates charged with 2 felony gun crimes. He failed to stop at an intersection last night in Michigan and was pulled over. The charges are 1 for carrying concealed weapons and 1 for altering ID marks on a weapon. Now, he has been released this morning, and there has been certain things that have come out. His lawyer has said it was not his car. He didn't know about the gun. All that stuff will get figured out, and we'll see if it gets dropped. We'll see if it stays here. We'll see if he gets to play for Eastern Michigan when the season comes up. But certainly never good to see this from a guy like Amani Bates.
I just hope all the people that a year ago in this market that had him being Kevin Durant and the number 1 overall pick whenever he would come out, whether it was after this year or after he went G League somewhere, wherever it was, I hope they care about Amani Bates, the person, as much as they thought he would, as they thought of him when they thought he would lead the local team to wins. My not top story: the football Tigers with their 2nd straight win and another stellar performance from Seth Hennigan, 14th in FBS passing out of 131, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the young season for the sophomore, 19 of 28, 360, and unflappable. Good running game will make him even more electric. Great one will make it almost unfair. He could obliterate passing records before he's done, and we know how prolific that passing record book that it is, that Brady White holds most of those records. North Texas this week, Temple next week will pad his numbers for the Hennigan versus Toon Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium matchup on that Friday night in October. And, of course, Houston has fallen flat. You know why? Look who their coach is.
I've been banging that drum. Also, I'll say it like I said last week. I don't know if talent-wise they're as good as we gave them credit for. I like him. I do.
That's
I
true.
like Clayton Tune's fine. I think he's fine. I don't think he's elite. I think he's a good college quarterback.
But look who's leading him.
That's the best point. That's the main reason.
Just do not trust him.
Yeah, not at all. And did you see them fighting on the sideline?
I did.
Oh,
that was ugly.
And I felt for the youngster that more or less instigated it. Then when he got to the bench area and sat down, he knew, I've lost it, and it's a bad look.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of the Tigers, we have to get to our Tiger Player of the Week coming up next, and we're going to talk to a guy who's brand spanking new when we talk about starting to come onto the scene for the Tigers. 3 catches so far through 2 games that he's gotten to play in for 151 and 2 TDs. Yeah, it's Joe Skates. He's next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
If you're one of the 100 million Americans who suffer from high blood pressure, this is for you. New Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure is specially formulated for people with high blood pressure. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free and alcohol-free. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is also decongestant-free, unlike some ordinary cold medicines. So look for Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure medicine. Use as directed.
O'Reilly Auto Parts is here to keep your car on the road with our free loaner tool program. Your local store has more than 80 specialty tools available to rent for your next repair. Refundable deposit required. Ask our professional parts people about the loaner tool program today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Need, want, dream about a new ride? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive super new SUV. Only $257 a month, 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury and performance? 2023 Kia K5 LXS sedan. We got it at $293 a month, 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. If you don't see what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P 738-6423, MSRP 25,325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26,860. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Open the door, sit in the seat, turn the key, and go.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. Joining us on the phone line, via the phone line, is Tigers wide receiver number 11, new transfer from Iowa State. He's Joseph Skates on Twitter at SkatesJoseph, and he's already made his presence felt. 3 catches so far this year, 151 yards, 2 TDs, 72 receiving yards the other night, and a TD. Joseph, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing well. Doing very, very well. So, I guess I have to start here. How are you liking it in Memphis? I mean, coming over from Iowa State, from Ohio. How are you liking the city?
You're gonna love it come November in those practices, not in Iowa.
Nah, for real though. I've been getting that question a lot. So Memphis has been nothing but good to me. I'm loving it down south. The main thing I love being down here is the food. I know it goes down funny, but cooking down here is pretty different. But like, you know what I'm saying, my team and the people here, the fans, and just the family oriented program that they got here. I'm loving it, and I look forward to break things in the future with us.
Joe, you're going to have them those first 2 games on the road. How did you like that Tiger Lane scene and that crowd? You could feel it 6 o'clock. Yeah. It was ready to go, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely, especially at the victory. I mean, the victory walk at the beginning. Yeah, I felt it right then and there, and I seen all the blue, and it just reminded me of being back in high school.
Right. No question about it, and you get that up close personally. That's the one thing I loved about Tiger Walk and getting through there. Now, I'm curious. You so far through two games where you've gotten featured, 3 catches, 151 yards, 2 TDs. You've been that big play guy. How would you though, like as you get more involved in the offense, how would you describe your game? Because so far you have nailed big plays, 50.3 average on your receptions.
I mean, yeah, when people see my game and see my film, they will automatically label me as the deep threat, I'm saying big play type of guy. But I would say my game is well-rounded for real. Mm-hmm. As I continue to learn this offense and master the offense and just gain the coach's trust, I feel like they'll be able to they'll use me more in different ways, and that you guys and the fans can see. But my game is pretty well-rounded. You know what I'm saying? I'm a pretty physical receiver. I'll say I like to block. That's one main thing that I like about my game is that I like to block, and I'm be pretty physical. There's no question that I'm fast. I mean, everybody talk about that. So my speed, my vertical threat. That's how I guess I would describe myself.
No question. I think that's a good explanation. Now, how you talk about getting used to the offense? How is it? Obviously, when I was at the University of Memphis, there wasn't a whole bunch of learning a whole new offense. We did have Coach Norvell come in, and we had to learn a little bit new, but it was a lot of similar wording and everything else. How has it been getting used to the offense you guys are running and Coach Cramsey's offense?
Okay, so I got here in the spring, so that was pretty a jump start for me, being able to go through the offense and learn it during spring ball. And I kind of got a grasp of it pretty easily, you know what I'm saying, coming from Iowa State, us running pretty much, not necessarily the same offense, but when it comes to formations and personnel, it was pretty much the same. And that was a big key point for me and a head start for me coming into Memphis and learning a new playbook. But it isn't pretty difficult, and I know I said get used to it. I guess I should say, you know what I'm saying, as I try to perfect the playbook, because I've came along and I've learned the playbook pretty well.
Right.
But it's pretty similar personnel and formation wise, but now we have different plays. We got more shot plays here.
Yeah.
Joe, I know he's got all the throws. The Tigers have something very special in Seth Hennigan. I know he's got all the throws. What do you think is his best throw that he throws better than about any other quarterback that you've played with and practiced with and dealt with?
I'm gonna be honest, Seth, he could probably make any throw.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say just his touch. I don't know. I guess you can say any throw because his natural touch, the touch that he has on his ball is amazing, and his deep ball is amazing. He got a nice strong arm, and it wouldn't even look like he's using that much effort to even throw the ball. But he got a nice arm and he can throw pretty far, and it's almost a perfect spiral every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you get the spiral up and then it goes.
Yeah, then it falls down. Yep.
Yeah, he got a pretty beautiful touch on his deep ball. It's pretty much almost in the basket every time that I've witnessed or been a part of one of his throws.
Joe, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away to the other teams, but here's one, and you set it up and you run it well, taking the top off the defense. But y'all have it in front of you, the back shoulder stuff. You just stop hard in the end zone, and he kind of take a little bit off that fastball. It's going to be open the rest of the year.
Definitely, he got a nice back shoulder ball too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can forget that. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Seth is amazing. I love talking about Seth. He a great kid.
And I'll say this too. In your two stops in college, you've had some good luck with quarterbacks.
Sure
you had Brock Purdy and now Seth.
Most definitely, Brock is an amazing person as well. I talk to Brock almost not often, but we chop it up here and there. He was a pretty good quarterback himself. But I tell Seth all the time, and no knock on Brock, but
right.
When Seth get Brock's age, Seth is gonna be pretty nice.
And just curious, like I know you say you like talking about Seth, so I'm gonna ask this. Since spring, I mean, last year he came in true freshman, kind of skinny, trying to get used to things. How much bigger and stronger has he gotten this offseason, just from you since when you got on campus?
What I saw, Seth, so I got here in December, I believe, and that was around the time when we started our winter workout. And I don't believe, from what I remember, I don't think our groups were with each other, but you can see the progression and Seth's definition. And, you know, they got the before and after pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
And they had a picture of Seth last year when he first got here, and at the end of the winter, the before and after, and you can see just the small transition or just from that small period of time. But Seth, he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid.
So,
he toned up.
You go ahead. My bad.
That was what I was going to say. He toned up a bit.
I was going to say, shout out Coach Franklin, huh?
Definitely shout out
Coach Franklin.
Shout out Coach Franklin. I want to shook Coach Franklin's hand after the touchdown. That's right there.
That's great, Joe. Joe, you were talking about blocking on the edge. We know in a lot of wide receiver rooms, the wide receivers coach will tell people, you won't catches, you got to block. I'm not going to play you if you don't block. And you brought it up before we even asked about it. I can tell you take pride in that.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. Blocking is, you know what I'm saying? I want to say we're like the protection blanket on the perimeter, but you know what I'm saying? Some of those blocks on the perimeter are key blocks and touchdown blocks. Like I think Rock Taylor had a key perimeter block when Javion Duggar scored his touchdown. He had a 2-for-1. He went and grabbed the safety, and you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a bone crushing block, but it was enough to get Jay to spring out, you know what I'm saying? Get him enough room to spring out and go score a touchdown.
Every block doesn't have to be a pancake block. If it leads to the fight song being played, it was a good one.
Most definitely. That's all that matters. And I think they told me it was called Strike Up the Band.
Yep.
Strike Up the Band.
Yeah, makes it. Definitely make that happen, and I like seeing that too. I remember playing O-line. You don't see a lot. Sometimes you'll see wide receivers that are just don't want to go out there and put hands on people. But honestly, at the University of Memphis, there's been a track record of dudes who want to put. I mean, Anthony Miller caught a lot of balls here, but he wanted to put hands on people on the outside when he got a chance. He liked finishing guys. Now, curious, just where did you? So you're out of Dayton, Ohio. What was your connection to the University of Memphis? What got you here?
I got asked this question the other day, and honestly, it was more of a feeling thing, and like it was a feeling thing before I actually got here and met the coaches. Because before I even met anybody on Memphis staff or anybody from Memphis, I got off the plane and I felt it, and I felt like I was home.
Right.
And I told myself, I'm like, this is where I'm gonna go. I can feel it. And as I met Coach Silverfield in person and Coach David Glidden, and just their, you know what I'm saying, genuine love and care and want for me to come here, and the opportunity that they had in front of me, like for me, like it wasn't really nothing too big or nothing glamorous that got me here in Memphis. And once I got here, I wouldn't say I started to do some research, but I started doing my own little research. And like you said, Anthony Miller and the Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Like, I started to watch all their film, and those guys were dudes. And I could see, like, just being around the guys, being around the facility, you know what I'm saying, going through the winter workouts, I could see how hard these guys work here and the unity here.
No question.
And the fight for one another. And I'm big on brotherhood. I'm probably one of the most selfless players and people in general that you'll meet. You know what I'm saying? I get pride out of making people smile and seeing other people shine. So just being able to be around some dudes that care for you genuinely. Like I said, everybody seems pretty like me pretty well. I get along with everybody pretty well.
And Joe, it's the ultimate team sport. It's what makes it such a beautiful sport. One bust, everybody bust. Now you got a 2-game winning streak going. Got North Texas this week, then Temple, then Houston, but North Texas first. Back to the grind with North Texas. I guess really starting for you guys tomorrow.
I started yesterday.
That's right. Y'all take Monday, work Sunday, take off Monday, right?
So it started yesterday. It actually for real started Saturday night after whoever celebrated, because I don't go out and celebrate. But whoever went out and celebrated the win started as soon as they got home.
You got no celebration? You just immediately you leave the stadium, it's behind you.
It's behind me.
Yeah.
We take pride in it. And winning is not easy. You look around college football, like Silverfield just told us today. You look around college football, and each game is pretty tight. Everybody is capable. So winning is definitely not easy, whether we win by 2 or 55. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for a win, and I take pride in that, and I take pride in helping my team.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? We celebrated, and then, you know what I'm saying, put it behind us, and now it's on to the next.
Yep.
Still we can go 1-0 again.
I hear that. It's a good mindset. Last couple of things for you. So you say you like the food here in Memphis. Did you have any previous sort of trips to the South? Do you have family here in the South? Or was this sort of your first experience with coming down here and staying for an extended period of time?
It was for me personally it was my first personal experience coming down here staying for some periods of time, but come to find out, I didn't know I had family in Jackson, Mississippi, and I got family in Georgia, and that's down here and down south. And I just met a few of them family members when we played Mississippi State. But it isn't my first time being down here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing. I wasn't familiar at all with the South.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you, Joe.
What food spots are your favorite so far?
My two favorite, I'll probably say Gus's World Chicken.
Yeah.
And American Deli, but I just had something. They gave us something after the game Saturday, and it was
Uncle Lou's. It's got to be Uncle Lou's.
Yeah. Uncle Lou's. And I went and got some yesterday. I took my family because they came up and stayed and watched the game. We went and got some not tomorrow, but yesterday we went and got some, and it was just amazing. So that might be a new favorite for me. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, once you get it fresh, it's different, huh? After the game gets nice and cooled down, it's still good, which once if you actually have it hot out of the fryer.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good stuff though. But glad to have you in Memphis. Appreciate you joining the show, Joe.
I'm glad to be here in Memphis with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Joe, keep up the great work. We'll be following you all year. Thank you so much.
Definitely, thank you.
You got it. You got it.
And he is Joseph Skates.
Outstanding.
Fantastic. University of Memphis wide receiver. And just get involved in these last two games. And the thing about him is he's gotten involved. They know exactly what to do with him. And that's why I had to ask him, you have those big plays, but what do you think about yourself as a wide receiver? And he says his game's more well-rounded. Hopefully we'll get to see that coming up soon. Now, I did have to look this up because I thought this was curious. Been at Iowa State for 3 years, so he's had some time with Brock Purdy to get some stats there. This is already 3 receptions, already the most receiving yards he's had in a year in college.
He's only going to have more because he's right. Seth Hennigan's got every throw. That deep ball, that's as pretty a deep ball as any Tiger quarterback I've ever seen.
He's driving it out now. I mean, he looks bigger. He looks stronger. He looks more confident throwing it downfield. I mean, he is driving off that back leg and getting it and letting it rip downfield.
Also,
By the way, Joe Skates looked Joe looked very strong on that touchdown he had the other night. He would not go down.
Have you also noticed that Seth is getting down more when he flees the pocket?
Yep.
It's great to see.
Great.
He's bigger, he can take those hits, but he's just kind of smarter now, and he's just going down. It's awesome.
That comes with year by year.
Exactly.
Year by year learning. You start as a true freshman, there's a lot you can still learn.
Because he took so many hits last year. He'd get out and he'd take a hit.
And it's kind of funny, his body wasn't quite built to take those hits. But Joe was fantastic, and we'll have that on featured audio, Sports56, WHBQ.com. It'll be in our featured audio section, as well as every week we've had a Tiger on Monday. Joe was fantastic today. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the first hour, and when we come back, we'll talk about this game. We'll recap what happened in the rest of the American Athletic Conference, because there's a lot of things going on. Houston loses, Tulane gets a big win. We'll do that when we come back on Sportstime.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time for another season of golf at Miramichi. You know the spot, 15 minutes north of downtown in Woodstock. I call it heaven. It's 330 acres of natural beauty, 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, but there are several different tee boxes which make it fun or competitive for every level of golf. And the practice facilities are as good as any country club, and every round of golf comes with a cart and complimentary range balls. You can really improve your game, and you'll love the prices too. Seniors can play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for as low as $33. Again, the golf cart and the range balls are thrown in. The standard weekday rates are as low as $44. Friday, it's $50, and on Sunday, it's $55. You'll love the view from the terrace. You look out and see the best view in all of Shelby County. The whole experience, it's just fantastic. Go check it out yourself at Miramichi.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday night report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Minnesota-Philly, it's a monster side and total. Minnesota-Philly, critical information confirmed. Plus Thursday, Pittsburgh-Cleveland. Saturday, early release, 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0, free on recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Minnesota-Philly is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. Call the recorded message line, 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to JohnAnthonySports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat is ready with Power Days deals on Covington Pike. It's time to make all your wishes come true, so come by. Pick out your ride and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. At Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, you'll get exactly what you want and at the price you want. No hassle, no extra charges, no market adjustments. You will not pay more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus, you can take your pick from 22 Jeep Cherokee Latitude 4x4 or 22 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x2. Now $519 a month. Get it while the getting's great at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.5% APR, 3,500 down. Cherokee, Indy 522,552, MSRP 38,785. Ram, NS 17135, MSRP 39,745. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
I work hard for this. I want you to know that.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Just had Joe Skates, Tigers wide receiver, on. He was absolutely fantastic.
Go
listen. Posted on featured audio very soon, and I'll probably put it out on my Twitter at G_Kuhn, KUHN71 soon. But he was fantastic, and he had a fantastic game. And Tigers get that win, 44-32, in a very, very, really a close game. And I know you win by 12, but that was scary for a moment there. With 5 minutes left, the Arkansas State comes down, scores to go up 32-31. And the one thing I was very glad to see with that Tigers team in that moment, instead of being nervous, being tight, playing that way, they went down the field and they scored. They did what they needed to do in that situation and responded when they were down, and that was fantastic to see early in the season in a pressure-packed situation at home.
It was a scare, but that's been the Sun Belt this year with a lot of people.
And I think Arkansas State's truly better this year.
Oh, I do too.
That is a better football team.
I think so.
Even hearing Butch Jones after the game, before the game,
I had him going to a bowl.
He's got more confidence in this team. I mean, it's very clear that this team is better than they were a year ago.
Columbus, Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, back-to-back weeks. They get a reprieve. They'll start getting into some home games. But the Sun Belt's been a major story. But for the Tigers to be at this point, again, kind of like last week, who didn't have Memphis at 2-1 in the summer? Anybody really have anything different than that?
Nobody, no. And especially if you're thinking 8-4, like a lot of people sort of
the
think.
3-0 person.
When you lay it out,
I applaud the optimism. I don't think it was well grounded, but okay.
You know where I'm at though too, because I think there was a question before the year about Seth Hennigan losing Calvin Austin the third safety blanket. Are there going to be enough weapons? I think the last two games have answered that for you. Yes, there are enough weapons. Yes. Gabe Rogers has woken up. Joe Skates is great downfield, and I think he'll get more involved in the offense as the season goes along because he's still getting used to it. But Caden Priestcorn has come along. Javon Ivory, Eddie Lewis are still there. You still have plenty of weapons that you're able to take advantage of.
I loved the box score number and the rushing attack. You didn't as much. Tell people.
So here's the thing: 4.2 average per carry is not awesome. And the issue I had is it just wasn't downhill or explosive as it needed to be. You had the one big run there by Jay Ducker for 39 yards in the TD, and I think he needs to get a lot more where that comes from because he can make the first guy miss. And I think Brandon Thomas, as much as I do like his style of running, it's tough, it's downhill. He tries to get physical. I feel like he's had trouble making that first man miss. But 45
this is gap power play team is
45 runs for 187 yards, and I saw a lot of halfback draws. I saw a lot of inside zones that were snuffed out really quick by Arkansas State. I just think that the differentiation of the scheme that I expected with Tim Cramsey, I wanted to see more power, more counter, things that they did well under Mike Norvell. I expected to see more of that at this point in the season, but it just isn't there right now. And I think, but if you look in that box score, yes, you'll say, okay, 187 yards rushing, that's an improvement. 3 TDs, that's an improvement. But just visibly, they weren't running the ball all that well. And I think the Seth Hennigan rushing touchdown was pretty cool, him finally pulling it and getting out there on the edge. By the way, Caden Prescorn, mentioned it early in the show, but he is a blocking fool out there on the edge. And then the Jay Ducker run was great. But other than that, I just don't think they did much running the ball that you could really look at and say, I was impressed. Did they do better? Yes, but you have to go up from where you were last week against Navy.
And there's going to be back-to-back road trips that you're going to have to be able to run the ball better and more, if for no other reason, maybe to salt away a win and keep their number of attempts down. On the road at East Carolina, and on the road at Tulane, that looks a lot tougher now than it did in August.
And Tulane's big win on the road in Manhattan against Kansas State. That's fantastic. And defensively, that's something you have to pay attention to. Kansas State tried to hit them with a whole bunch of running the ball like they normally do, and Tulane snuffed it out. Tulane didn't let them do it. For only a 4.4 average per carry for Kansas State. And we saw Kansas State, what was it, a week ago, put it on Mizzou. Make Mizzou, and I don't think Mizzou's very good. That's not what I'm saying. They're still an SEC program. They're still in that conference, and they still have to deal with those things. They have some talent. I think Luther Burden's pretty good, but Kansas State whooped them up and down the field. Tulane goes in there the week after, on their roads, on their home turf.
Way to go, Wave!
And whoops them.
It's a good one this week. Tulane and Southern Miss at Ullman on campus at Tulane. That'll be a fun game.
Mm-hmm. I can't get over Kansas. Lance Leipold deserves a Nobel Peace Prize already. You think already his name should come up in jobs for Nebraska?
He's done such a good job. Bill Self will get a raise.
But Houston
goes down. We got to give the basketball
Houston
guy a
loses 48
that works at KU
to 30 against 2 teams in a row now that they're going to be facing here year to year because they're going to be in the Big 12.
I saw some.
That's sad.
Incredible today. A AutoZone Liberty Bowl projection of Kansas and Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun.
Also, a couple more things before we get to hour number 2. Maryland beats SMU 34-27. SMU hung in there, and I think on the road against Maryland, tough to do. But Tanner Mordecai threw for 370 yards. Your guy Talia was all right too, only 214 yards, but he figured it out. UCF beats FAU after that nasty loss that they took to Louisville, and then South Florida
should have won.
What?
Outrushed, outpassed Florida.
I didn't see that coming at all.
Not even close to seeing that.
Goes on the road in the swamp and gives Florida a scare for their life, 31-28.
Gave the game away late.
I know we're going to talk about the SEC later, but we're going to have.
That's why I had that what if.
We're going to have to discuss
what if
Anthony Richardson. Did we crown him too early after that Utah game? I think it's distinctly possible. Let's go ahead and get to hour number 2, though. When we come back to start it, we bring on our guy from CBS Sports, as we normally do, David Cobb.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? Because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now, through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Tired of living with chronic joint pain from arthritis or injury? Stop with the steroids and pain meds and don't have surgery until you check out regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
These therapies can help the body have long-term relief of your pain.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
We use your body's own healing properties, highly concentrate them, and then use that to restore and repair the damaged tissues in your joints.
This is a cutting-edge natural solution from local medical professionals.
We have a team of medical assistants, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and physicians that are trained specifically just to do regenerative medicine.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from personal experience. Before joining the QC Kinetics team, he was an actual patient.
I am now pain-free.
You too can get lasting relief from joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about buying a new or used car or truck? Remember, the selection's better and the savings are bigger at Sunrise. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from. Factory rebates up to $2,000 and interest rates low as 0%. Bad credit? It's okay. At Sunrise, we've got a financing plan for everybody. SunriseMemphis.com. We're saving you money. It's just the way of doing business. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. We make it fun to buy a car again. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Hey, Jeff Allen, it's a great day to be happy in a new Kia from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. What you got going on?
Randy, we'd love to make you happy with the all-new 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive. Just $257 per month for 36-month lease and only $29.99 due at signing. Or how about a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month for 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. You got me happy.
And listen, Randy, if you don't see what you want, no problem. We will order exactly the perfect ride for you, and you choose your own bells and whistles.
Plus, equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P738, 6423, MSRP 25325. Sportage P709, 8842, MSRP 27955. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is here. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. We're all here in the Family Leisure Studio. Brian Dacus producing the program. And on the phone line, as we normally talk to him on a Monday at this time, it is David Cobb from CBS Sports at David W. Cobb on Twitter. David, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys. I'm still recovering from Saturday. What a day! Just when you think
again,
when you think you're going to get a break because the schedule looks light, that's the cue to know that insanity is about to occur. So that was a late night, but a great day, another great day of college football.
So throwing out week 0, Brett said week 1, week 2 are 10s, right? 1 through 10, they're 10s. I agree with that. What was this week?
Oh, I would say I would give week 3 a 10 because though it was light on the high-level matchups, it delivered in some unexpected places. You think about the ending to the Appalachian State-Troy game again. You think about Missouri State at Arkansas. You had to have an ESPN Plus subscription to get the most out of Week 3. But if you did, it was as good as those first 2 weeks.
David, UCLA in South Alabama?
Yeah, that was something.
Mm-hmm. Another one that was not expected to be a great game, but that truly was. So I had Week 3 pegged as a little bit of a snoozer going in, and maybe that's why I'm thinking of it as having delivered. The early wave was a little sleepy. There wasn't a lot going on in that initial wave of games on Saturday. You know, Michigan just crushing UConn and whatnot. And Oklahoma and Nebraska looked like it would be a game, but then Nebraska just rolled over. But, man, overall, there were some really good finishes outside of those marquee games. Because, man, Texas A&M and Miami, that was tough to watch. And so was BYU Oregon, honestly. But there were still some goodies.
Do we have any explanation, and I guess I'll bring in Brett for this too, do we have any explanation what's going on at UCLA with their attendance? That's so – I mean, it looks like there's about 7,500 people in the Rose Bowl every Saturday.
It's a massive stadium that they play in, and for whatever reason, I've never understood it, but UCLA does not start school until like the end of September.
Huh?
So that had something to do with it. Apparently the students were moving in this week. And I saw that used as an excuse that the students were moving in this weekend.
When do they get out for fall semester?
Well,
February?
I played a September game there, and there was 45,000 probably.
There were 70,000 that night, Gabe.
I mean,
that was a good crowd.
It was at least it was better than what I've been seeing there. I know their scan count they're still going to act like they have 30,000 there, but I don't buy that a bit.
Am I remembering right? Did y'all win that game when Memphis went out there?
We lost by a touchdown. We lost late.
But
that was a
scheme.
That was a heck of. They had a bunch of talent. That was Jim Mora and his last couple of years there. Jim Mora Jr., I should say. And they had some talent. Eric Kendricks, Miles Jack. It was that team.
David, I'm scared UCLA speaks to the football problem I think we have now in the state of California. I just don't think it is as prominent. And it used to be the Garden of Eden of high school football prospects. I just don't think it's as prominent as it once was.
Yeah, and the excuse of students moving in proves that point because if students were moving in on the weekend of a game at an SEC school, that would mean that there would be a ton of them. That means every one of them would be at the game because, well, we're on campus, we're moving in. We're going to take a 5-hour break from moving our furniture and our clothes to go to the football stadium. That would be a no-brainer. It would make for a festive atmosphere. UCLA, apparently students moving in is cause for poor attendance.
Now, Pasadena is a long way from Westwood.
Well, I get it.
But it's the same distance it's always been.
Exactly. And, I guess maybe USC would be a better litmus test of where things are at because that should be a program with absolutely no excuses for attendance right now, and buzz and hype and all that with Lincoln Riley. So we'll see as we get into Pac-12 play. But I think what we're going to see once UCLA gets into the Big Ten, unless they get somebody out there that just puts rocket fuel into the program, you're going to see more fans of the Big Ten teams at UCLA games than you are going to see UCLA fans because these Big Ten schools are going to say, oh, cool, we can travel out to L.A. for a conference game, especially in October and November when it gets really cold in Big Ten country. You can go out to L.A. and wear shorts for a weekend and see your team play in a place you've never seen them before. I think for the first 3 or 4 years, while all those teams are cycling through UCLA for the first time, you might see more road fans at the Rose Bowl than home fans.
So on the USC front, they get the big win, 45-17 over Fresno State. Jake Haener, I hope he's okay. I didn't hear good things about the situation with him. Obviously, the quarterback, really good quarterback for Fresno State. And I thought this game was going to be close. I thought that Fresno State would be able to cover it. Did this week more than anything give you hope in this USC team? Did decent on the defensive side of the ball and ran the ball really well?
I'm still not all the way sold. on USC. I think Oregon State could pull a surprise on them this week. So USC is going to Oregon State to play an Oregon State team that absolutely deserves to be ranked this week, though it is not. And their defense is going to be tested like it hasn't been yet. Fresno State was just starting to get the ball moving offensively when Jake Haener got hurt on the first possession of the third quarter there. They were driving with a chance to make it a one-score game. We all know what Jake Haener can do after midnight on the East Coast. He was, I think, in position to make that game a lot closer than it ended up being. And then you go back to week 2. And, yes, USC ended up winning on the road at Stanford by 13 points.
Let it get close.
But Stanford shot itself in the foot repeatedly. They moved the ball well. And for that matter, you go back to week 1, Rice moved the ball reasonably well.
Yeah.
And again, turnovers and whatnot. So I don't know what their turnover margin is right now at USC, but it's really good. And they're going to play a well-coached Oregon State team that's, I think, year 4, year 5 now under Jonathan Smith. Yeah. I think the point spread's around 13 right now, and I would look hard at taking Oregon State because I still think USC is a little bit of an illusion at this point.
David, how are people voting? I don't want to have too much poll attacks. I don't want to lose my mind over it. But how are people voting Utah over Florida when they played 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, the AP poll has been off the rails so far this season, I think. That Utah team has beaten no one of consequence. They crushed a lifeless San Diego State team this past week. And then they beat an FCS team after losing to Florida in week 1. So Utah does not deserve to be in the top 15, in my opinion. They don't deserve to be ahead of Florida because Florida beat them head-to-head. And they certainly don't deserve to be ahead of Penn State right now. Penn State has 2 of the best wins that anybody has in the country. They've won 2 road games in hostile environments, winning at Purdue and then handily dispatching Auburn this past week on the road to advance to 3-0, and also really took care of business against a decent MAC team in week 2 in Ohio. So Penn State should be in the top 10. Utah should not be in the top 20. Mm-hmm. I don't think, given what we've seen on the field so far this season.
Mm-hmm. And Oregon, obviously in the Pac-12, got a big win over BYU. That was nice. They got into the top 15, and good for Dan Lanning. I'm definitely rooting for those guys over there because they were good guys at Memphis. Young coaches trying to get on the come up. It's good to see them succeed a little bit. Now, somebody who didn't succeed, and by no means is this a young coach on the come up, but it's Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards out at Arizona State after Eastern Michigan late. You had to stay up late to see the end of it, but beats Arizona State, Emory Jones 30-21. And now the question becomes for Arizona State, what are you going to do in regards to getting that program on the straight and narrow? Because you have an NCAA investigation a little bit over your head, although I think Herm Edwards will be implicated more than the school in that situation. Who could they turn to? Who do you think they can?
Dan Mullen. No, I'm just kidding. I brought that up last week, and I think you guys thought it was crazy.
No, I liked it. At Nebraska.
Yeah.
I don't mind Dan Mullen.
He might be a more practical fit at Arizona State. Now, look, I think there's a lot of guys who would be willing to go out there and give this thing a shot at Arizona State, even with the investigation. For one thing, the investigation gives you a little bit of negotiating leverage. We see it in basketball more often, but look at the type of contract that Matt McMahon was able to negotiate at LSU because of the investigation that the Tigers basketball program is under. He was able to secure a longer-term deal with more reassurances in terms of like support and whatnot because of what that program is going through. Maybe at Arizona State you get the same type of deal, and I think it's an attractive job as well because of this reason. You look at the Pac-12 after USC leaves and after UCLA leave. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of divisions. I think they're scrapping the divisions altogether. I think that's a place where you can go and win pretty quickly at Arizona State in the transfer portal era. There's really no reason why not. They actually have a pretty good amount of history and tradition. They have been decent in the not too decent past. Herm at least got him to some level of respectability before the bottom fell out. His predecessor, Todd Graham, had a few good years before things went haywire under him. So you can cycle up there pretty quickly, especially in a Pac-12 that's going to be watered down significantly. So, man, I see that job being attractive to a lot of people. And I know our Dennis Dodd threw the name Hugh Freeze out there. I think that name is going to continue to come up this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that one some tread there culturally. I don't think that's the best fit. I'll say that.
He wants Auburn.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, though. Like Hugh Freeze and talking about cultural fit, I don't know if anybody's going to say that it's a cultural fit. I mean, he's done a decent job at Liberty, but the past looms large with him. I have heard this name come up, and I just want you to tell me if it's real, perceived, fake. What is it? Mike Norvell has come up because he was there with Todd Graham, did a good job as offensive coordinator, has ties there. Is that real or fake?
Well, it depends on how things play out this season at Florida State. They're off to an excellent start. They're 3-0. They're ranked. Things look like they're going well. But let's also not ignore the fact that Florida State was absolutely decimated by injuries, both leading up to and during that win at Louisville on Friday night. And they're about to embark on what will soon become the more difficult stretch of their schedule. And the reality is that even though Florida State's off to a 3-0 start, this is still a team that could very well finish 7-5, given the injury situation and the uncertainties there. I think Jordan Travis is going to be able to return at quarterback after a scary hit that he took against Louisville. But Jared Verse, the edge rusher, just a lot of injuries already early in the season for Florida State. So you never say never in terms of a guy going to a place where he could be comfortable as a landing spot if things aren't going well. But the reality is that getting fired is so lucrative that, you almost think that he will ride it out until the end at Florida State. And then, by the time he would get fired in a doomsday scenario at Florida State, Arizona State should already kind of have its guy. I think that's why you move so early in this situation if you're Arizona State. Same for Nebraska. You can kind of ID your guy well in advance. And I just have a hard time seeing Mike Norvell being willing to entertain an offer, at this point while he's in the thick of what should be, kind of a breakthrough year for them.
David, on Saturday, Auburn, they didn't do anything well. They showed there's no strength to the team. There's no identity about the team. The fans largely left at the end of the third quarter. Great fan base. I think the best student section year in and year out in all the SEC. And now this week, 11 o'clock game at Auburn against Mizzou. It won't be very festive there. The program is as flat as I've ever seen Auburn be, and they're in the middle of another Bama tsunami. I understand that. I don't think they can play around on the edges with the next hire. I don't think they can get the young up-and-comer like a Jamie Chadwell or anybody like that. I think they have to go big. They have to go blockbuster. And it would fit. And he would take on Coach Nick Saban. He even did a little bit last summer. They need to hire primetime. Deion Sanders, next head coach at Auburn.
Hey, I've heard worse ideas. I think he would be able to recruit. I mean, he's recruited so well at Jackson State, which is a place that's very difficult to recruit to. He's done a great job there. And I don't know if it's just the talent advantage that he's amassed or whatnot, but his record is pretty good, too. So it's not as preposterous or as ludicrous.
Every 18-year-old in the country would like to play for him, and their parents, they know who primetime, they know what 21 was like.
Yeah, so in this era, I think you can get away with Deion. You can sell it a lot more than you could pre-NIL. Because I think Deion Sanders as a Power 5 head coach before NIL was a violation waiting to happen. But now he's, I think, in position to actually be a legitimate candidate for a Power 5 job because, one, he's proven he can recruit at a really tough spot. He's proven he can win as well. And now you pair him with the resources of an Auburn. Yeah. I don't think it's as crazy as some people might think. I think
the administration level, the bow-tied crowd, the pinheads, the chancellors and the provost and the board of trustees types, they would have been more scared of him pre-NIL. You make that point. And now they still may be a little bit reluctant if they think, the resume as a head coach. I mean, we know the Hall of Fame status. We know what you did at FSU, but the coaching resume to them may still be a little thin, but you know what gets that crowd to turn around more than anything? Season ticket sales, box sales, signage, suites. It would be 90,000 at the A-Day game next spring. ESPN would put they'd put a permanent structure and a satellite building down at Auburn to cover him.
No doubt. And then you think about SEC Media Days. He would be the star.
Yeah.
Forget about Saban, man. Everybody would be there to see Deion Sanders, and that would be just a huge shot in the arm because everything you describe about, oh my gosh, can you think about Bruce Pearl and Deion Sanders as the coaches of your two most visible programs? I mean, that would be an athletic department just absolutely busting at the seams. I don't know how long it would last or if it would end well, but I can see it, man. You're talking me into this. I think there's some validity to Deion Sanders as a Power 5 head coaching candidate in this coaching cycle. And Auburn, geographically, culturally, I think would be a reasonably good fit.
Him recruiting in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, he's 16-5 at Jackson State. I mean, that before he got there, that would have been, and that's what I'm saying. That's before he got there, Jackson State would have never thought that over a 2-3 year stretch.
My only thing from whomever's going to be the Auburn AD or whoever would make that hire. My only thing I would highly put across this point to him. We've got to have proven assistants. Just don't hire your buddies. Well, don't go Herm Edwards at Arizona State with buddies.
That's a fair point. And that would be a concern because he doesn't have that extensive network of collegiate connections and proven Power 5 recruiters. They don't prohibit him from succeeding, but you would have to be intentional about that. And then you also have to sort of account for the fact that Florida State is his alma mater.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And could he ever be lured down there whenever, things come to an end with Mike Norvell? That would be a concern as well that I think Auburn could deal with just by throwing money at Deion that an ACC school doesn't have in this era, but that would be something to look at as well.
Now, if I'm primetime during that interview and they throw that out at me, I go, now, who was Gus, his football ops guy? His brother-in-law. I'm going to hire who I want to.
Well, he wouldn't have that context. That's something that probably only you would know. He should talk to you before he goes down that interview because folks with the SEC understanding that you have could give him some dirt and some leverage to use against Auburn. Because Lord knows there is plenty of dysfunction down there.
I mean, this 2 years ago, a year ago, Brett, this would have been insane to me, this suggestion, even the mere thought of it. But what he's done at Jackson State's unbelievable. Shedeur Sanders looks like a pro quarterback almost. Looks like he's going to be on the come up. Their offense is stepping up. They're scoring 60 points against inferior competition. They're blowing out inferior competition. It's different. It's a different conversation than it was.
I tell you when it hit me. Yesterday morning, I'm listening. I'm driving back from Atlanta. I'm driving through Birmingham, and on Jocks they have their morning after show. That's what they call it. And they're talking college football, and an Auburn fan called in and sounded older, sounded very dejected, and this was an exact quote about Brian Harsin. He just ain't got it.
And that was proven true. I mean, look, if you can make Penn State look like a juggernaut running the football, then it's true. You just don't got it because Penn State has really struggled to run the ball over the years, and that's kind of the missing piece for them. And the way they ran it against Auburn was pretty shocking. And I think if it wasn't clear now, it should be as we sort of enter the meat of conference play. Auburn's your last place team in the SEC West, and I'd be really surprised if it's anyone else.
While we're here on talking coaches, is Nebraska going to get what they want and get Urban Meyer? I know that your colleague Dennis Dodd has reported that Nebraska has reached out to him. Do you think ultimately that's something that can and will happen?
I'd be surprised if Urban ended up at Nebraska. I think if nothing else, he may have been contacted for ideas, as crazy as that sounds. But you sit in that chair where he's at now as an analyst, and sometimes you get calls. One, hey, you're definitely not interested, right? And then two, like, what do you see? You've coached in the Big Ten. You're in this analyst role now. You have an understanding of the market. Like, what would you see as the direction we should go in? I know that may not sound likely, but I think that could have been the nature of the call as well. And let's be clear, too, when people put out there that Nebraska and Urban Meyer haven't talked, okay, that's probably true. It doesn't mean that third parties haven't been in touch with Urban Meyer who are affiliated with the Nebraska search. And so I want to be clear about that distinction because there might be other reporting out there that seems to contradict what Dennis Dodd reported about the contact between Urban Meyer and the Nebraska parties. But it's always not the school directly. In fact, usually a coach is not officially offered the job until he says yes.
That's right.
So
and those search firms are set up so everything that is FOI-able, you can't get to it through those search firms.
Yeah, that's precisely right. And look, the Tennessee coaching search that I covered back in 2017, there ended up being a treasure trove of juicy documents that came out of all that. It revealed some of the inner workings of the search firms and what can happen when the ADs sort of deviate from that. And I think this will be a buttoned-up search from Trev Alberts. I think he's a pro. I think he's going to do something really, really thorough and exhaustive here. So I think it's way early in the process to start throwing out individual names with any degree of certainty in Nebraska.
And at the presser, something you can count on. It's the only person we offered the job to.
That's right. And that they'll technically be telling the truth, even if it's a load of
nice.
slogan. Yeah.
I know we're not supposed to bring in full names. You just said that. But Lance Leipold has to get looks from somebody, right? After what he's done through 3 games.
Get a look. Absolutely, if you're Lance Leipold. If you're Lance Leipold, they'll build a statue of you in Lawrence at this rate. He'll be the best coach since, Mark Mangino. And he's proven that he doesn't necessarily just jump the jump. I mean, the guy was unbelievably successful at the D3 level for a long time. I'm going to assume he had opportunities after winning several national titles to take a bump up. He seems like the guy who values stability and quality of life, which if you're Kansas, you hit a home run. I mean, I don't know if maybe Nebraska can dump a bunch of money on his plate, but he just doesn't seem like the type who would jump at that.
I just can't believe they're already over their 2.5 for the year. And they beat Houston and West Virginia back-to-back weeks.
Cash those tickets.
What is going on?
Chalkers.
Shout out to Kansas. That's
Vanderbilt as well. And then you look at Duke. So now, Duke, Kansas week is going to be a fun little
We said college basketball game day should go cover that game.
I know it. I still think that a Duke Kansas basketball Duke Kansas basketball game played in an arena with appropriate capacity would probably outdo the football game that we're about to see between these two. But it'll be fun. It's going to be unique.
I can't believe we are where we are with Kansas football, but it is what it is. David, always appreciate it, man.
Have
Thanks
a great
for joining
week,
us.
David.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. David Cobb with us every Monday from CBS Sports, talking all things college football and college basketball. And the deals are back at All-Star Chevrolet for Chevy truck season in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevy. That's where you can save $1,000 on a new Silverado 1500 or HD with the accessories you want. 1.9 financing is available on new Equinox, and your good credit, it deserves it. Or take the $1,200 cash for tailgating or fall road trips. Call Jeff and Kevin. They're making it happen for us. Just pre-order what you want and check out the certified pre-owned Chevys. All the pre-owns you can imagine, they're at All-Star. And you can go to allstarautogroup.com as well. Jeep Wranglers, Tahoes, Grand Caravans, Ram Laramie trucks. If you want to sell any car, any truck, bring it. And Jeff and Kevin at All-Star, they'll take care of you and get you a check for some great cash today, even if you owe against it. And you do not have to buy a thing. Gary in All-Star Chevy Service has specials on full synthetic oil changes and tire rotation and brake specials. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Now we have to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we go around the SEC and around college football and talk about what occurred. What a week 3 we had. We'll be right back on Sports Time, Gabe and Stats.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Our long national nightmare is over. It's finally time for football, and there's no better place to catch a game downtown than at Memphis's perfect neighborhood bar, Bell Tavern. Tucked into the alley behind 117 Prime, Bell Tavern was a well-kept secret for a long time. But now the secret is out. Bell Tavern is the perfect place to watch a game. Not too big, not too small, not too bright, not too dark. Ice-cold beer, delicious cocktails, the friendliest bar staff in town, all wrapped up in a cozy bar you'll never want to leave. It's Bell Tavern. Now you're in on the secret.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Run to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Rolling right along on a Monday. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. We are back. I'm Gabe. He is Stats. Now, I have to start. If we're going to talk about the SEC and we're going to recap the SEC, I have to start where it all started right after game day when that Georgia-South Carolina game came on. I hate overreacting. I know South Carolina's not on Georgia's level. And I don't want to go to the point and start talking about Georgia.
And nobody was on upset alert.
They're a lock. They're national championship winners right now. But my gosh, they're proving it to us at an unreal level. And Kirby, I know the pride he has to take in losing 15 draft picks, reloading and looking without question through 3 weeks like the best team in college football.
At some point, somebody at Georgia is going to have the bumper sticker, the T-shirt, the hashtag. We're not little Bama. We're big Georgia.
I mean, they did whatever they wanted. Stetson Bennett, another fantastic game. 16 for 23, 284, 2 TDs, 1 rushing. I mean, the fact that he's on a Heisman, his candidacy's there. It's written. And I've tried to have these conversations with people we talk to on a daily basis, with people outside of the station, and they shrug it off. They sigh, deep sigh when you say Stetson Bennett is going to be in New York. But it looks like a real possibility. And another guy on this team, on this offense, and obviously he hits Ladd McConkey a lot, and Ladd McConkey's been really good. Let's not discount
Always
that.
Open.
But Brock Bowers, I tweeted this out on Saturday, and I believe this wholeheartedly. He seems like, and you talk about Kyle Pitts and what he was at Florida, can't miss tight end prospect, one of the first tight end prospects we've seen taken that early in the draft. Brock Bowers is right there with him, if not even more, because he has the blocking element.
He would be a top 5 pick next April.
Yeah, but he can't. True sophomore.
And I don't think he will, and I'm not trying to encourage anybody from doing it, but one of these days in this NIL, you just have so many hits on your body, you're going to see a player, maybe like Brock Bowers, may not be him, and just go, look, especially if they go back-to-back. I've got 2 national championships here. This year, I got my SEC championship. I've done plenty for the University of Georgia. I'm putting it up. I'm working out for the next year. and I'll get drafted next year. Somebody's going to do that at some point.
Mm-hmm. You do wonder, though, nowadays with the amount of they can get insurance policies for millions of dollars. They can get the NIL money. You sort of wonder. But no, I don't disagree with your sentiment there. But Georgia, just as a whole, watching what they're doing, and I know it's South Carolina, and I know it's not the best SEC team, although I think
and a lot of injuries for South Carolina, but they took them apart.
I understand that. Limb from limb.
I
texted you and Rob Fisher in the second quarter and said there's no amount of Beamer ball that can save
none.
South Carolina.
You can't block enough kicks. You can't get enough stops for them to line up and punt.
You can't have enough successful punts or fake punts.
24 and a half on the road and just cruise through that.
Easy. Backups came in and still cruised.
The touchdown South Carolina got late, Gabe, it was against threes.
I know. And there's a lot of people that are out there and talk about Kirby as a coach, and they say, well, he gets talent. I don't know, X's and O's, but still, the book's still out. I don't know if I can put him in top 5 X's and O's coaches. Put him in top 5. I don't care, X's. Stop making the distinction.
And
he's won a natty.
That's the
he's doing it again.
Against a defensive guy. If you're a defensive guy by chops, you start a couple of pegs down the wrong.
I don't get why.
I don't
what's being done is fantastic.
Look who he's chasing.
And also
a defensive guy, Nick Saban.
And I know that he's got more experience on the offensive side of the ball now, but Todd Monken's doing a pretty good job scheming this thing up. He's doing a good, and probably it's pretty easy for him up front. Cedric Van Pran, Warren McClendon. I mean, he's got juniors and seniors on his offensive line with a quarterback who's got his head on straight, a million different tight ends that they can't possibly get them all the ball. Darnell Washington, Brock Bowers, Eric Gilbert. But we've seen it. But Todd Monken's taking a step in the right direction.
And we've seen it a million times in sports, whether it's team or individuals. I think of boxing. Larry Holmes was once a sparring partner, waited his turn. He was going to knock off the great Muhammad Ali, and did. We saw Michael Jordan and the Bulls. They had to get through Boston. They had to get through the Pistons. They had to get through Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys, and then it was their time. And for Kirby Smart in Georgia, they've waited, and now they've gotten there. They are the king right now, and it feels like a more family oriented group than almost any out there, because you look through it. Kirby's Georgia, Will Muschamp's Georgia, Mike Bobo's Georgia. Those players are really bought into kind of God Country and Georgia Bulldogs.
Someone is going to have to prove to me. And this is weirdly enough, I don't even think Bama is there right now. And I really not weirdly enough, because we saw last week against Texas. But someone has to prove to me they can compete with Georgia this year. Someone. And
we feared that last year. But this year even
but their offense, the JT Daniels experience, and then having to go to Stetson, they were back and forth, and it was uncomfortable offensively. It's not that way this year. Everything is going well. And I look at their defense too. It's loaded.
When does Georgia get a challenge?
I don't know.
Kent, Mizzou, Auburn, Vandy, cocktail party.
I don't.
Tennessee at home.
Cocktail party always gets a little wonky. Tennessee will make that defense work a little bit harder, but nothing on their schedule is that scary. At Kentucky, possibly, and I think that's what we went into the year saying.
Mm-hmm.
We thought Oregon maybe. How silly were we? We thought Oregon was going to be a challenge for them.
Next test is SEC championship game.
Against Bama?
Against the Western champion.
against Bama. But watching Bama against Texas gives me no hope that they can do anything against that Georgia defense. Not anything. They'll be able to do a few things. But Keely Ringo, Nolan Smith.
No 7-step drops. No throwing deep in the pocket.
Jalen Carter up front. I mean, the physicality you're going to have to play with is tenfold what you had to play with at Texas, and you got beat. You got beat by Texas in the trenches and on the edges.
Really smacked around.
So I'm not overstating it. Georgia is the king right now, and they're going to have to. Somebody's going to have to prove to me that they're on that level, because I don't see anybody in college football that's on that level through 3 weeks.
I mean, they've allowed 10 points
and scored at will, done whatever they wanted. They run the ball well. Stetson Bennett does a good job of pacing that offense and pushing the ball even downfield sometimes. They have good tight ends. They do, and obviously injury bugs can bite. And they can bite hard. So we'll see if they can stay healthy throughout the year. But Georgia's just the level they're playing with through 3 weeks. It's hard to ignore. You can't ignore it. Now, moving on in the SEC, we brought up the Auburn situation. Penn State and this is part of the reason
5 carries for Tank Bigsby in first quarter, only 4 in the third quarter. That's inexcusable.
Yes, part of the reason I picked Penn State is because also I think that Penn State did a good job of. When they did run the ball, it wasn't going anywhere. And they play in the Big Ten, and they're used to that type of offense. But Auburn they don't have anything going on the offensive side of the ball. Nothing.
There's no identity.
And it's hard to, because I don't know. TJ Finley, Robbie Ashford aren't guys who should be starting in games like that right now. I just don't think they're good enough. Plain up. They can't throw the ball well enough, spread it around well. They don't have enough on the outside. I agree with that too. And when you get into a game where
no real defensive identity either, nothing.
But when you go into a game against a team like Penn State who sees run after run after run in the Big Ten, Tank Bigsby's not going to be able to get it done for you. And now, granted, he needs more carries. He's the only guy who can make a play for you.
Trying to establish that to shorten the game.
41-12.
Love Joey Porter. Could watch him play every week.
Joey Porter Jr. is a beast.
He brings it.
He's big, long corner, rangy, 6'2". He's about his dad's height.
He is
190. He could potentially be a top 10 draft pick by the time he comes out. I think it's like Sauce Gardner and the.
Did you stay with the entire State LSU game?
I didn't get to see much of it. I do know that even looking at the box score and how the game went, Mike Leach did not have his finest performance.
I thought Brian Kelly ran circles around him. Yeah, it was just handed him the clipboard.
Mm-hmm. LSU possessing the ball for longer. Mississippi State not converting on third down.
Jaden Daniels got confidence as the game went on.
Yeah, and they let him run for 100 yards and 2 TDs. That's not a way to win a ball game against LSU.
Opening night against FSU, and Greg McElroy made this point. LSU got it going that night, and they got it going Saturday night against State when they got in, not hurry up, but a little more tempo, a little better groove.
But I still think Mississippi State's a good ball
I do
team.
too.
But whenever you get into these matchups, these SEC matchups, middle of the year, there's going to be cannibalism. I didn't expect Mississippi State to go in there and absolutely
all of us
win
at LSU winning that game preseason.
I just didn't buy that Mississippi State was going to go in there and win handily. And I think LSU, I think Brian Kelly learned a lot from game against Florida State. And they've adjusted Jaden Daniels in that offensive strategy based on what little I did see of the highlights of that game and everything else. So there's that. A&M still has no offense, but they beat Miami. Good defense, I guess. Held Tyler Van Dyke down.
Outrushed and outpassed A&M, but couldn't win. A&M able to win. Thought the home field was largely the difference there. And Max Johnson, he didn't turn it over.
Yeah. But didn't do much.
Nope.
140 yards and a TD. That's cool. I don't know what Haynes King would have done in that same situation. And I do kind of feel a little – I still feel kind of weird about that quarterback switch the way it went down. Seems kind of Jimbo scapegoat type of thing. And I don't know how much I can jive with that. And Max Johnson did fine. And I thought Max Johnson should have had a chance before the season to go win that job. But the loss against App State, I thought it was a badly called game by A&M. I don't know how many mistakes Haynes King made. He didn't play all that well, but for him to just get ousted and scapegoated immediately by Jimbo is not a good look to me. It's just not.
You have back the end of the App State North Carolina game. You turn that around. The story of college football in September would be App State. They got that loss opening day to North Carolina, and now these two wins are against A&M and the Hail Mary on game day that looked like a movie.
Last couple things in the SEC before we get to break, because I know we're pushed up against it, and I meant to bring these up. Florida, of course, very close against South Florida, and South Florida could have won that game. Arkansas played close with Missouri State. Did you see what Sam Pittman had to say after the game?
I did, and it's why he is so loved. He said he was out-coached, that Bob Petrino had his team ready, but they were fortunate to win. And the near-death experience that Arkansas had, well, I'm going to talk about it when we get to college football, who won the weekend and overreaction. You don't want to have that loss. You don't want to have it in year 3. I know Houston Nutt lost that kind of game on opening day of year 3, and it blew 2 years of hard work. I didn't want Sam Pittman's honeymoon to end, and it would have ended with that kind of loss.
Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, this is why we love Mondays. We get to our extreme overreactions. We talk about who won the weekend. We'll do college football and NFL. That's next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
How do you grow your business without spending more on credit card fees? Call Blake Jones, your local Mid-South Advanced Merchant Services representative. He works with your business to help it grow instantly. Small business owners already have enough cost. Let Blake Jones help you lower your credit card processing cost risk-free. Absolutely no cost to you, the small business owner. Call 662-416-5262. That's 662-416-5262. Call Blake Jones today and start saving money tomorrow.
Attention sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you with the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity, longevity, and you need to know you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention BetUS 2022, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
What I would tell people is that you don't have to be in pain anymore.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in using advanced regenerative medicine to give people lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
What's exciting is that I get to see patients with our treatments actually get better.
Have you discovered regenerative medicine? It's an all-natural way to use the power of your own body to restore and repair damaged tissue.
We're using things that are already in your body, and we're simply concentrating them and then put it in an area of your body that you're having the pain so that your body can start the regenerative process, the healing process.
For pain in your knees, hips, back, shoulders, don't assume the old treatments are the only treatments. Avoid drugs and surgery and get lasting relief. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Guns and Ammo has a full line of Pro Shot products, a tremendous selection of accessories from belts, holsters, gun cases, specialty boxes, bench-made knives, and assorted optics. At Guns and Ammo, enjoy selecting all your favorite firearms, from hunting supplies to target shooting to self-defense. Experience the excellence at Guns and Ammo with a friendly, knowledgeable staff and hundreds of guns to choose from. Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer Avenue, Memphis. Local and supporting the NRA and friends of the NRA. Guns and Ammo, family owned since 1985.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One, inviting you to join us every Monday night of the NFL season for primetime matchups from around the NFL. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will have the call of the game on the air. And now, streamed live and for free. Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Don't miss any of the action on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
See the road ahead more clearly with Sylvania Bulbs and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase select Sylvania bulbs and get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate, plus receive double O Rewards points. Replace your bulbs today and see better tonight. Let the professional parts people help you find the bulbs you need. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Bon appetit.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Papa was a Rolling Stone, but now I got Rolling Stones in the bezel. Ice. Mama and home
Good week 3 in college football. Week 2 in the NFL. Still, we have doubleheader tonight. That'll be fun. But week 2, yesterday definitely lived up to it. 3 13-point comebacks in the NFL yesterday.
Did you see this? That post-game Kyler Murray was celebrating with
he got
Cardinal,
grabbed.
and somebody
They're investigating.
hit him.
They're investigating right now.
They'll find that guy.
But did you see that there was a second day in NFL history, the other one being in 1992 with 3 13-point comebacks? The Cardinals, the Jets, which wild comeback. And I see people going after Nick Chubb. I guess there's reason to do that because he could have gone down and run out the clock. But dang, thought if you go up by 2 touchdowns with 1:25 left, it's salting the game away. But
yeah.
And then the Dolphins. By the way, you guys. Do we have anything to say about Tua after what he did yesterday?
I've been big on it.
I've been on Tua. I've been with you on Tua.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going. I'm not saying
I'm not accusing you guys. You guys have guilty consciences. I just asked, do we need to say anything about
it was
very
aggressive question.
Accusing us.
The line
was
leading the witness. Well, honestly,
do you all have something to tell me?
I think it's more.
I'm sorry,
I think it's. I didn't say, do y'all have something to tell me? I said, do we have something to say? Do we all have something to say?
I want y'all to apologize to my friends at DirecTV that took care of it.
Oh, they did take care of you, didn't they? Although I heard a lot of people were getting shut out of their Sunday ticket.
Oh, Sunday ticket was
yesterday.
Awful. I don't think it was the actual TV one, but the online one where you can go on the website. Good. Oh, it was pathetic. I got everything yesterday. This 3:00 games were fantastic. The noon games pathetic.
I sent y'all both.
Who's your rep? Who's your rep at DirecTV?
As soon as I pulled it in from Atlanta,
I didn't talk to him.
I popped it on, and they're all there. So I got all the games.
I bet you're super giddy
for spending about $40,000 with them over the last 20 years.
The least they
give me NFL Sunday ticket.
All right, now
my cable bill comes in on a forklift.
It does. Dang.
And it used to be bigger.
Mine's. I don't have like extra, but you're not paying for Sunday ticket, right?
No.
So they just giving it.
It's complimentary.
What a deal!
By the same token, AT&T that owns DirecTV just arbitrarily went up $3 on my monthly Wi-Fi. It was $63 forever, and this month now it's $66. And I don't remember agreeing to that with them.
He probably didn't tell you. Probably got an email. Probably at the very bottom of the email.
Hit terms and conditions.
Here's what they're doing. They're giving you Sunday ticket 1 year, so when they take it away next year, you feel like you have to. Your heart has grown fond to it. You have to go buy it.
Like $3 gas.
I'm glad we have it. Right?
All right, college football, NFL weekends are over. Obviously, we do have the doubleheader, but the weekend is over. We have some overreactions and who won to get to. Let's get to our college football overreactions first. Who wants to start?
I'll go first. The Tigers are going to win the AAC.
Wow.
That ain't an overreaction, Brett. Come on.
The Tigers.
Come on. No, I mean, it's in front of them. I mean, we've got to see them against good competition in the AAC, though. I got to see what they look like against Houston. And I have told everybody ahead of time, Houston's not that scary of a team, just personnel-wise.
Wasn't in the preseason for that game, and it's not at all writ large now.
SMU and Cincinnati, I still think they're the two at the top. And I know SMU lost to Maryland on the road, but they looked competitive, and it was on the road. My overreaction in college football, same thing. Kansas is going to win the Big 12 this year.
Whoa.
How about that?
That's top
for an overreaction. Hey, but no, listen. Beat West Virginia in overtime. Beat a team that's going to come in and probably be in the middle of the Big 12 next year in Houston. I mean,
we interrupt the start of basketball season to bring you KU football.
I guess so. Oh, wow. I think Kansas is a good team. Kansas compete with anybody.
Michael Penix Jr. will win the Heisman.
We were talking about Washington before we came on today.
It's Penix.
I like
the way you said it was a little.
I like that, and I mean, you talking about slinging it? He was late.
Got an arm.
NFL, Gabe.
I love how he said Penix. That was great. What my overreaction? Giants are going to win the NFC East 2-0 now. Eagles will fall off. Cowboys won, but are still hurting without Dak. And Danny Dimes and Saquon are going to have their breakthrough year.
Mine is Cooper Rush will take the Cowboys no further or is just as far as Dak Prescott would have.
Love it. You know what I got to say to that? I actually wrote it down. What do Wally Pipp, Drew Bledsoe, and Dak Prescott have in common? Lou Gehrig, Tom Brady, and Cooper Rush.
No. Oh, Lord.
You know when we'll know there's real Cooper Rush mania? No. When we come in here on Monday and we see number 10.
I have it in my cart right now. I promise you I have it in my cart. The button's about to be pressed.
Oh, no.
Brian, I can't think of a great number 10 in Cowboys
By the way, I have
Cooper Rush.
By the way, I have to come off.
Far.
I have to come off of my take of was Tavon Austin number 10 for a couple years? I think he was number 10 with the Cowboys.
Romo was 9.
Yeah.
Danny White was 11.
I have to come
12,
off of my take that Cooper Rush is 32 of 32 in the as far as backups are concerned. He's up there now. After this
10.
week. Heck of a job. Didn't turn the ball over.
And the Bengals offensive line play. Look out, Joe Burrow.
Awful.
I feel bad. Makes me want to come out of retirement.
You could
help him out. 13 sacks in 2 weeks. Come on.
Your man Dan Skipper's playing.
He had a good game.
He did.
Lions won too. All right, my winner in college football. It's the two teams that we thought were going to be awful. It's Kansas and Vandy getting over their win totals and showing a little bit of hope to those fan bases who, generally speaking, even historically, are happy. Don't have much hope.
Mine is Arkansas for dodging that game that would have caused the end of the honeymoon for Sam Pittman. Both Brett Bielema and Chad Morris would have lost that game, and to avert that kind of PR disaster, it would almost have been 2 years and 3 games of hard work down the drain for nothing.
I'm going to go with the Pac-12 teams in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington State, with all big-time convincing wins over the weekend.
Keeping everybody up late on a Saturday night.
Right.
Kalen DeBoer, early returns on him at Washington. Shout out.
NFL for me, Jimmy Garoppolo, because now he is the man in San Francisco.
Bryant, you go ahead.
Are you even asking me?
Come on.
Dallas!
There you go. And you know mine. Are you even asking me who my winner is? It's Tua!
Shocker.
6 TDs, furious comeback against one of the better teams in the NFL. And also, I think Lamar Jackson is looking like he should be paid right now. But that's a different
469 for Tua?
469 yards. Got both of his all-pro caliber receivers, 150-plus in TDs. All is good in Miami. And I think getting them the ball as much as he did, that creates very harmonious relationship within that locker room. That's a good thing.
Right.
That's a good thing. And also doing that 460-some-odd yards against Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Williams, that secondary, that's impressive stuff. And, every great quarterback has that game, that coming out party. Maybe that was his. We'll see. But attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus up to 200%. BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today, 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. And they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention promo code Sports56Radio. Again, promo code Sports56Radio. And you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins. Now, hour number 2 in the rear view. Hour number 3 on the way. We started talking some Tiger football. Evan Barnes is next.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Collierville Auto Center is all about trucks and Jeeps, and the inventory is all stocked up. Been looking for that special ride? You're covered from the basics on up. Want to sell your truck or Jeep? Then bring it in and get a fair deal. The technicians at Collierville Auto Center know just about all there is to know when it comes to trucks and Jeeps. So don't be afraid to ask questions. They've probably heard them all. Every truck on the lot has been fully serviced from top to bottom and bumper to bumper, and there are warranties available. Collierville Auto Center, 651 West Poplar in Collierville, and online at colliervilleautocenter.com.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Need, want, dream about a new ride? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive super new SUV. Only $257 a month, 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury and performance? 2023 Kia K5 LXS sedan. We got it at $293 a month, 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. If you don't see what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P 738-6423, MSRP 25,325. K5 950-6883, MSRP 26,860. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Third and final hour on a Mondays here. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. Brian Dacus in the Fan Leisure Studios with us, producing the program. And joining us via the phone line is Evan Barnes, the CA's beat reporter for Memphis football. You can find him on Twitter at Evan_B. Evan, how are you, man?
I'm good, Gabe. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I would imagine you got a little more rest this weekend, or are you still a little?
You're gonna get lazy
still a little
being at home
tired.
so much.
Well, I mean, my birthday was Saturday, so I tried to sleep. But
happy belated!
Happy belated! Thank you. It was still a long night. Got home around 1. Obviously, doing our post game duties and whatnot. But all in all, it's good to stay home and not worry about flying on a Sunday.
Evan, on Saturday, there were issues at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We haven't been that hard on it today, and I'm reserving everything for don't let it happen 2 weeks in a row. Okay, had some issues. I don't think any of it was the University of Memphis's fault, but whatever, it has to hum this week. Cannot have that 2 weeks in a row.
Well, I think we all kind of weren't. I'll say this. Was I surprised that the ticket issues were an issue with people getting in? No, because what's a Memphis game without ticket issues? Let's be honest. They were bringing in the new system, and I knew there were going to probably be some people who had some trouble getting in. I got a text from somebody who was outside who had been waiting a while. And so I guess it's just the nature of, the first time you introduce something, people are going to naturally struggle with it. So your hope is that for a second week, things get a little bit closer. You can look and evaluate what you do, kind of like a Memphis football team. First week didn't go so well. You look around and say, what can we do better? You do better. But hopefully, fans can arrive a little earlier, understand what's happening. But hopefully things can also, go a little bit smoothly now as you see kind of what these new ticket scanners are going to be looking like and everything.
My view of the situation was less scanners is what I was hearing, but they seem to the wanding. And obviously there's not, the entrances usually get clogged at Liberty Stadium, but it looked like the wanding. They wanded everybody coming through, and there's not as many places to feed through. The scanners seemed like less of an issue. They sort of put them up there on the wall, and people were passing them. I know people have issue with, no contactless or not having a tangible ticket in their hand, and maybe that's an issue for some people with the technology and everything. But it seemed less about that and more about just the entrances and how clogged they got with people wanding and trying to deal with security.
Okay. Well, shoot, I wasn't down there because it happened right. It was my awareness of it was about 20 minutes before kickoff. I'm in the booth, so I didn't know that as well. But hopefully that whole thing does get sorted out. Just because,
no question.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens next week. Hopefully it'll get sorted out.
But once they actually got in there, I mean, those last three plays or last play really made I think the crowd made the difference.
And I'm sorry for the people affected, Evan, but a kind of a good problem. It's better than not having a crowd, and then that crowd brought it and was a difference.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the game, basically, like when Ryan Tilfield came in, he basically thanked the crowd almost right away when he sat down. And I think the crowd's impact was definitely felt when the game was near the end, and Arkansas State had those 2 false starts. It definitely was a big was a big factor. Now, I couldn't hear it as much because, I was so focused on finishing my story and the windows were closed. Right. But from what the player said, from what, Ryan said, obviously, that was absolutely a great finish to the game. And I think that made up for the delays, if you will.
Mm-hmm. So overall, what did you think about the performance for the Tigers? Obviously showed some grit, go down with about 5 minutes to go down 32-31, somehow will it out, and the defense stood up when they needed to. But it was definitely a close game. I think Arkansas State's a little bit improved. But what did you think about the performance as a whole from the Tigers?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I think that they, it was a performance they needed to have at home. Was it great? I mean, Arkansas State made it a closer game the whole way. Like, Memphis never ran away from Arkansas State until Brandon Thompson touchdown. It gave people probably reason to say, hey, this is why we came. This is why you're hoping that Memphis can kind of build on these home games coming up. But overall, I thought the performance was solid. I think Seth Hennigan and the offense, or the passing game, looked really good. I thought what was I going to say? The run game left a lot to be desired. I'm sure y'all will ask me about that some more.
Yeah.
But I thought that the offense was probably great. The secondary was another issue that I had. But overall, if you had to grade it, I didn't do grades this week on commercialfield.com, but I would say graded about a B-.
Right.
Overall, because, again, there were even for a game where you didn't turn the ball over, there were still some things you're looking around like, some of these worries now are starting to kind of be trends that you're worried about a little bit, especially with O-line and secondary.
Yeah, and there's been some interesting developments. With McKylan Pounders, we've asked some guys on the radio broadcast, how that's going to go, and it seems like he's moving around. Although he's sort of a week-to-week situation at this moment, he certainly could be some help along that O-line. Now, the run game, I'm glad you bring it up because if you're box score watching, you say, "Oh wow, that was an improvement." 187 yards on the ground. 4.2, 4.3 yards per carry, 3 TDs on the ground. But I agree with you. It sort of left a lot to be desired because of the way they were getting them. There was not a whole – it just feels like the days of the explosive run play with Darrell Henderson, with Kenny Gainwell. It feels like they're fading and they're not quite there anymore.
Well, let me give you this. I was looking at some stats last night. You mentioned the run game. So, yeah, they did have over 100 yards rushing. I think that was the most rushing yards they've had since they played Navy last year. I think it was 7, if you go back 7 games or whatever, 7 or 8 games. But there's something I want to show you. So, the third quarter, Memphis had 64 rushing yards, and they averaged 3.37 yards per carry. Mm-hmm. In the fourth quarter, they had 64 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, but if you take away that Ducker touchdown, that number drops to 2.27 yards per carry. So Memphis did not, it's like you said, Gabe, they really tried to force the run, but they weren't getting a lot of yards to really kind of make a dent. It was more just, we're going to try to loosen this defense up, soften them up, and then find a big play if possible. Ryan Silver compares to making body blows, but I think you look at those rushing numbers and you look at the carries that they had. Yes, they had the total of all those carries, but again, you had 28 rushes in the second half. Take away Ducker's big run, your yards per carry don't look that great. It concerns you, but again, I think at this point, it's got to be a question of what does Memphis do to work around that? And we asked Ryan Silver about it today. How do you work around that, or do you try to be stubborn to make it work, realizing that, hey, we can try to win around it with Seth Hennigan?
What was his answer?
Well, it's funny. He said, they're going to, commit to the run, and, they're going to try to commit to, hey, if teams stack the box, we'll pass around it. But basically, it didn't sound like there was going to be a change in philosophy. It's going to be, hey, we're going to try to do what the defense gives, all that cliche. But I think it's a matter of Silville saying, hey, they're going to try to stick with what they believe they want to do, and hopefully it works, even if the data isn't showing that it's working the way you would want it to work.
Now, I am where I'm at, Evan. I'm a firm believer, even if the run game's not going, you have to have those body blows. And sometimes a run game will look bad in the stat sheet, but by the fourth quarter, it mattered. Mm-hmm. It made a difference. You loosen them up. I think there's something to that. The issue I have is, if you look at last year, and I think we sort of talked about this a little bit last week, is when they get up in games, it feels like you can't rely on a run game to start moving some clock, getting some clock off. You still have to continue with that foot down, which could lead to other issues in a game where you turn the ball over, you put the ball in the air too much. You just have to, I think, as we get into conference play and see this team against a little bit better competition, I think you're going to have to see them keep teams honest, and I don't know if they're there yet. I think everybody will know exactly what to scheme when they go against the Tigers. Now, granted, I think Seth Hennigan, his improvement, I think they still have a lot of weapons on the outside, so that could be very helpful, but it's going to be hard to keep teams honest with the run game they're showing.
Absolutely, and I think give Memphis credit. I went back over my notes just now. Silverfield basically said they're going to stick with the run. It's not a case of, we're not going to abandon what works for us. He basically said, the run game was effective in the fourth quarter. They ended the game with Jay Ducker basically giving you the go-ahead touchdown and Brandon Thomas at the end. But I think what concerns you is, do you go to the run game so much at risk of upsetting the rhythm of your passing game?
Yep.
Because Memphis was lighting up the Arkansas State secondary. They averaged, I believe, 18.9 yards per completion. It's the question that I have is, again, you and I, Gabe, were in the same line. you don't want to ever not run. You don't want to be this, air raid team that barely runs the ball. That's not what Memphis is. But you have to look. Maybe what Memphis can do is look and say, hey, as much as we want to establish the run, you don't want to upset the rhythm of the pass game when it's working so well. Because in my opinion, if you pass the ball more in the third quarter when they only had 4 passes, you pass more in that quarter the way that the defense was looking, you might have been able to put that game out of reach in the fourth quarter. So especially with how the defense had kind of, started to make a little bit more plays in that period. So it's not saying abandon the run. It's more saying, if something is working, the question is, should you keep doing that, or do you want to try to keep teams honest by not relying so much on the pass? I'm not sure.
Right. Again, I'll go back to last year. You got into these situations where you were up and you got these early leads and you tried to run the ball, tried to run some clock, and it let the other team get back in it because you weren't gaining yards. You can't get into that situation this year. If it's not working, throw the ball, right? And get first downs, move the chain. So we'll see how they deal with that going forward. Now, the one thing though, offensively, that we did have a little bit of concern about, where there was questions with Calvin Austin III leaving. They have more than enough, it feels like, in weapons on the outside. Joe Skate's involvement, who we talked to him earlier today, Joe Skate's involvement has been massive. Caden Priestcorn looks like he can be a good target for Seth Hennigan to add to Javon Ivory, Eddie Lewis. It looks like they have plenty of weapons on the outside.
Definitely. I think what you can be hopeful is you see Gabe Rogers and Eddie Lewis starting to emerge as deep threats. Javon is turning into that third down possession guy who can also try to get you some deep balls when necessary. But you're seeing those guys emerge. And Joe Skate, I think he's starting to get more comfortable with what he can do. That slant that he had for the touchdown was really, really occasion, not just his speed, but just his power a little bit.
Yep.
I thought that was great. And I think Priestcorn, as you said, Priestcorn's been a revelation these last 2 games, 3 touchdowns and over these 2 games. He's been very, very good. And I think what you expect from Memphis now is, can those guys start to keep emerging? Because you've got something going where it doesn't have to be Javon Ivory carrying this receiving core. You can have Joe Skate as a dangerous weapon. You can have Caden Priestcorn in the red zone. Heck, right now, I'd argue Jay Ducker and Brandon Thomas have still been relatively effective, even though the running game hasn't been, dynamic. They've still been really effective. I think Jay Ducker now has had a big play now in the last 3 games. Yep. Brandon Thomas has been productive. Asa Martin's been productive. You're seeing the younger players. We knew about Hennigan and Thomas, but you're seeing those guys like Ducker, Skate, Priestcorn. If those guys start to emerge, I feel really good about where this offense can go, because I think it can show that, hey, we don't need to replace Calvin Austin and Sean Dice with just 2 people. We can replace them with multiple guys who produce, which is what Memphis wants. But again, they have to show that consistency that what we've seen the last 2 games can be repeated now as we get closer to AAC play.
Evan, you mentioned the receiving core, that it's getting better. After 3 games, do you think the Tigers are getting better?
Yeah, I think they are. I mean, well, I'll say this. The offense is definitely getting better. I think the defense, there are some questions that I had. I had questions about the defense going into how would they look after Navy? Like, how would they look facing a somewhat normal offense? And there were things they did really well. They shut down Arkansas State's leading receiver, Champ Fleming. They did get that late turnover, but they didn't get a lot of pressure on James Blackman due to that big Arkansas State line. I thought they still gave up too many explosive plays, something Ryan Steelfield brought up today. I don't know if this defense is getting better, but I think there are some things where you see, okay, you got Quindell Johnson. You are able to get some third down stops. We did get a lot more third down stops in the second half. So I think it's still I'd say it's an incomplete grade for the defense, because I do see some progress, and I think more fans would like to see a little bit more just until, before they get a little bit too confident in them. Because that Arkansas State game was close in ways where you were like, how's this going to be in the AAC? But I'd say the offense is definitely getting better. The kicking game is obviously getting better and improving. So we'll see what happens there.
Defensively, it felt like every single third down in the first half was converted by Arkansas State. And it's just the same exact thing you feel from last year about this defense is you get to these 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situations. You don't feel confident they're going to get off the field, and it wasn't that way in the first half. Second half, I thought they came out a little bit better, although they had some leaky issues. But What do you think it is? I mean, you have this secondary that's very experienced, that's played a lot of ball. Up front, we know that there's some issues with depth on the D-line and getting after the passer. I guess where would you, if you're talking about who you think's more responsible for the third down woes, would it be the secondary or would it be the line not being able to pressure the opposing quarterback?
I think, Gabe, you can probably look at both. I think you have to be able to get pressure on the quarterback on third down to help your defense out. Like, don't give him time to decide what to do, and then he can make a decision without pressure. And then I also think the secondary has to be able to tackle much better. I mean, and I'll say this. Arkansas State started 5 for 6 on third down. They ended 2 of 8 on third down. That's a good sign for this defense that they were able to make adjustments there. But you'd like them to start out a little bit quicker, for sure. But I do think that, again, it goes back to just get pressure on the quarterback, get the right players in space. They had too many missed tackles, as Ryan mentioned. I think that's going to be key, is just can they, make the plays they have to make on third down, especially when it comes to like third and short. I think third and short I'm looking at the stats here. Arkansas State was 3 for 4 on third and short, and those are going to be the places where you have to try to make a stand. But I think overall, like the defense, it's about getting pressure. It's about making those plays in space. And right now, they're not able to do either one of those, and that's what's going to hurt them going forward until they shore that up a little bit.
The one thing I'd say defensively that I could say is so far I can take it as a somewhat positive. They've been, and I don't know if they've gotten tested though, so it's kind of incomplete there. It feels like against the run they're solid. They've been decent with their run fits. I like their linebackers. Tyler Murray seems to be good at getting downhill and meeting force with force there at the line of scrimmage. Same with Jeff Canton-Arku, but. Do you feel like that's maybe a positive you've seen from this defense, or is that incomplete to you?
Oh, no, I think you're right. The linebackers have been very, very impressive. I think Tyler Murray is showing that he's definitely as highly, rated as the coach has said he was. He's made plays. He's done really well moving in space. Zay Collins, I think, has been done very well. Jeffrey Canton-Arku and Sincere Evans have been great coming in and doing some things really well. So I would say the linebackers, at least your top 3-4, have definitely been a great part of this defense. And you just hope that ultimately, you don't want to see any of them get hurt. Like when Zay Collins out in the first half, they did a good job filling in, but it showed you that you don't need anything bad to happen to Tyler Murray or Zay Collins. I think, Gabe, you're right. Memphis has done a good job stopping the run really well, for the most part. And I think that's going to be a good boost going into North Texas, where you're facing a team that is priding itself on running the ball. So I think that's going to be a good test for Memphis. If they can stop a team that pushes itself on the run more, like the Mean Green, I think that's going to be a good sign for Memphis on Saturday.
And this Saturday, the Tigers host North Texas. Tigers installed as 11.5-point favorite by Vegas. 2:30 kick at Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium. Hope the crowd's just a little bit better than last week, and the efficiency of it by the stadium's a lot better. So North Texas is a run-first team, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was chatting with their North Texas beat writer today. He'll be our special guest on the podcast, Tigers Football Podcast this week. Mm-hmm. But I was chatting with him and looking over some numbers, and North Texas has a strong run game, and that's something they've really tried to, lean heavy on. So that's going to be a fun test for this Memphis defense to see if they can slow them down a little bit. And of course, they're an offense that can, make some things happen in the spread as well too. So I'm not saying they're abandoning the spread, but it's more like you definitely have to make sure you don't give this team a chance to light it up on, because they have shown when they get going, they can be a team that can knock somebody out. So we'll see how that goes.
The last thing for you, Grant Gunnell was off to North Texas this offseason, and I did find it interesting. You guys were talked to Coach Silverfield about it, brought it up, and I thought it was a good question, just asking about Grant Gunnell. And usually, and you know this, usually it's when you ask him, we're not going to talk about guys that are not part of the program anymore, but it seemed like he was very complimentary, and it seems like there wasn't much bad blood in regards to how all that the whole thing shook out.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I had expected, Ryan to kind of, brush it off or whatever, but he was very complimentary. He said, Grant Connell, they had an adult conversation about his decision. He thought it was handled very, very well. He wished Grant the best. He didn't go into too many details about, what happened or the specifics of those conversations,
Mm-hmm.
but he did kind of just say that, it was very positive. He wished him well, obviously, except for this weekend. When I talked to Grant Connell's dad over the weekend, Grant Connell's dad said basically there's no bad blood. He loves Memphis. He still loves a lot of the friendships he made here. He got his degree here, so he's very happy.
Right.
It just was a matter of moving on to the next chapter. And so I think that it was very interesting he said that, and I'll be really curious to see kind of how that. Granted, Grant Connell's not starting on Saturday, so that's kind of a subplot way down the line. But I do think that it is kind of a chance to kind of revisit that quarterback battle, and kind of wonder what if Grant Connell didn't get hurt. We asked Ryan Stillfield if he thought about if you think about like what could have happened, and Ryan very definitely said you do think a little bit. They compared it to the Tom Brady rise in 2001 where he replaced Drew Bledsoe. So you do wonder, but at the same time you're also happy because the one thing about the Tigers this year is Seth Hennigan was expected to carry this offense. He has done that. Yep. He has played very, very well. And I don't think if you're Memphis, you're going to look back and say, "Gosh, I wish I wish we would have had Grant Connell," because Seth has played very, very well. Not just last season, but he's played better this season to start off. He's more comfortable. He's more confident. So it's sad that we won't get to see the actual duels. It is kind of nice that you hear, at least publicly, that Brian Silver has had good things to say about Grant Connell without but more reminding everyone that he's very satisfied with the decision that is putting Seth Hennigan at quarterback.
It really is. That's win-win. Best wishes for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You like to see that. I don't like that. I don't like the bad blood. I don't like dealing with that. And we get a lot of.
We got enough acrimony out here.
Yeah, and we got a whole lot of transfers these days, and there's a lot of stories like that. Glad to see that one didn't turn out that way. But Evan, we're gonna go ahead and let you go. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk next week.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all take care.
You got it. Have a great week. Evan Barnes with us from the Commercial Appeal. He's on the beat covering Memphis Tigers football. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. You can visit them online at DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the beautiful cars and all the references and testimonials from very pleased customers through the years. They're at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales, where all the cars are test-driven, checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe, and you will be treated like family by a kind, courteous staff, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they do care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in your new car. It's a guarantee. They keep it that simple and that efficient, that streamlined, because they know we live in a world today that time really matters. Go online at DeSotoAutoSales.com and look at the cars and read those testimonials that I just told you about. Or visit them at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience every time in DeSoto County.
We go ahead and grab a break. When we come back, we have 2 Monday Night Football games. We have a doubleheader. The first game, 6:15, Titans-Bills, will be on ESPN. Vikings-Eagles will be the later one, 7:30 on ABC. At that point, you're going to have to decide which one you want to tune into because they'll both be running alongside each other. But
the old back button will be busy tonight.
We'll do a pick and preview. And also, we're going to get to our 4 favorites. And we're going to do it a little different because it's a doubleheader. 4 favorite players on any of these teams. It could be, you don't have to represent all. It could be all from the Titans. It could be all from the Bills. You could mix them up. It could be 2 Titans, a Viking, and an Eagle. It could be anything you want. You can go any direction. We want to get those lists at 901-360-8255, and we'll give ours as well.
I'll bet you lunch. T.O.'s on Bryant Dacus' list.
Look at the smile. Look at this.
He loves him some T.O.
Yeah, I don't want to bet you lunch on that because I think we got it already. Let's go ahead and get to a break. We'll do that when we come back.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Kevin Harlan here from Westwood One, inviting you to join us every Monday night of the NFL season for primetime matchups from around the NFL. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner and I will have the call of the game on the air. And now, streamed live and for free. Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Don't miss any of the action on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long.
So, you're at the game and that hot dog and soda come back to haunt you with heartburn. You try to get under control with a few antacids until bedtime, and then the heartburn comes back. Does this happen to you? Instead of fighting your heartburn, block it with Prilosec OTC so you can celebrate your team's victory without heartburn distracting you. Taking one Prilosec OTC pill in the morning can prevent excess acid production for 24 hours. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. Prilosec OTC. Used as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
O'Reilly. Improve fuel mileage with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system can increase your vehicle's performance and gas mileage. Get Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner starting at $9.99 and earn 10 times O rewards points on your purchase. Get the most out of every gallon. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop O'ReillyAuto.com today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So what do a cheeseburger, pet food, and a 6-pack of IPA have in common? When you order them with DoorDash, you don't just get the things you love, you support the community you love too. From stores and restaurants to the Dashers driving around, every purchase provides an opportunity for everyone involved. With DoorDash, there's a neighborhood of good in every order. Get 50% off your first order of $12 or more, up to $15 value when you use code RADIO22 at checkout. Limited time offer, terms apply.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to embrace adventure like never before in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $339 a month or $26,390. Get dramatic performance off-road, on-road, and everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross, $409 a month or $31,085. And breakout and standout in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. With 7 seating capacity, we Gossett at $419 a month or $31,605. Plus, peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.44 APR, 500 military rebate, 4,900 down. Sport, NU 017062, MSRP 27,140. Cross, PC 00695, MSRP 31,585. Outlander, NZO 84348, MSRP 32,105. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Now, I know we usually get to our NFL recap, and we talk a lot of NFL on Tuesday after Monday Night Football, Brett. But Raider Corey texted in, and he reminds me. He says, weekend was shaping up well. Cooper Young Fest. Tigers winning within the second half of the Raiders game occurred. He said he's still hurting, and I know you're probably hurting. 0-2, and that's your Super Bowl team. That's your AFC winner.
Corey, I'm with you.
That was, I don't know how they did that. I mean, that was impressive.
Derek Carr has
impressively
been
bad in the second half.
I think they're forcing it to Devontae Adams, and then Hunter Renfrow with those mistakes late in the game. And Josh McDaniels I don't think has put his identity on this team. It does not look like the Raiders down the stretch last year with Bisaccia.
I don't think he needs to put his Patriots identity on this team though, because they're not. That's not what they are.
No, you don't want to try to turn them into the St. Agnes Madrigal Saints. Yeah, I understand that. But this ain't Doctors Without Borders.
I thought in the second half it was a lot of lame conservative Patriots. Let's run a stick route. Let's run the ball. Try to run clock because we're up by this much. And it didn't. It just came back to bite them. And the Kyler Murray chipped away little by little.
Okay, and the Kyler Murray show. Get him some help, Cardinals.
And also, Hollywood Brown still can't catch the ball. I know he's now a Cardinal. He still can't catch the ball.
I've said he's been Glendale Brown. He hadn't been Hollywood yet. He
gets open though. He's open constantly. He can't catch the ball.
He cannot. And A.J. Green's hands, when did they turn to stone?
I don't know. He's pretty old. let's give him a pass. All right, he's in his 30s now.
He did make that 2-point play catch, but that throw, that was masterpiece throw.
That was the I still can't get over the defensive holding in the end zone by the Raiders on 4th and 4
when they should have sacked him.
Yeah, when Max Crosby. You got to get him down.
You got to get him on the ground.
He's not that big. Max Crosby's 6'6", 280 pounds. Get him on the ground.
We've been watching Kyler Murray play from OU on, and he escapes that kind of play.
A lot.
Yeah. You chase him all night, and you're dead by the end of the game.
Yeah. But he escaped a little too much.
All right, Monday Night Football tonight. Let's get to the picks first. Buffalo minus 10.5 over Tennessee. I'm taking the Titans plus the points. Straight up, 28-24 Titans.
They got a win that we didn't think they were going to get last year too. I'm going to go Titans plus the 10. I don't think 10.5. I don't think they'll win, but I just think that's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number. I'll take the Titans.
And I also think that
group lock that we are 1-5 on the year.
I also think the Titans have to come out after last week and show that they have a pulse. You lose to the Giants. And I know the Giants are 2-0. 2-0 Giants that are going to win the NFC East, like I said in my overreaction. But
we all had Baltimore yesterday, and we all had the Tigers on Saturday. 7:30 Monday Night Football game on ABC. Philadelphia minus 2.5 over Minnesota. Gabe.
Give me the Eagles minus 2.5. And you know the reason, right? Kirk Cousins, primetime? Come on. I have to pick against them.
Bryant?
I'll take the Vikings.
Just the points or to win? It doesn't matter.
Both.
I'm there. I'm taking Vikings. 2-0 start, 31-28.
Y'all trust the Vikings like that on prime time?
I hate the Eagles. Go Cowboys.
Same.
Cooper Rush stand over
Cooper
there.
Rush, let's go.
I love it.
You've abandoned Herb Adams
The next
for
Tom
Cooper
Brady.
Rush stand.
Oh, I got to change that on Twitter right now.
You kind of have to.
You really should.
You kind of have to. After how many starts does he have in his career? 2 now?
2.
Our favorites from all these 4 teams.
Is he 2-0 to start?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Tom Brady.
What a guy. Sorry.
We wanted to pick from all of them. We didn't want to blow through the whole inventory because we know we're going to get some more of these teams later in the year. I'll go first. And my favorite player historically from all these teams, and I don't know that if he should or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame in Canton. I know he is the toughest player that I have ever seen and covered anything resembling up close and personal the hits that he would take in that 1 year here with the Tennessee Oilers, my favorite player of these teams tonight, Steve McNair, 1. Number 2, Dawson Knox with Buffalo. 3, Chris Carter with the Vikings. All he does is catch touchdowns. And number 4, fell in love with him here with the Showboats and followed it all the way through, starting with the Eagles in the NFL, then the Packers, then the Panthers at the end, Reggie White. So I had one from each team.
How high is Chris Carter all-time hands?
Maybe the best.
You think top 1, top 3? What is he? He's up there.
And then on the other side, have Randy Moss running the go.
Yeah. But those hands, Chris Carter was one of the best possession guys I've ever seen, and he did more than that. So I don't want to sell him short, but those hands, it's ridiculous. I ended up having one from each team somehow. Figured it out.
Did you mean to?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. And I have 2 of the same of you. I'm going to start at 4. Steve McNair, I go for 4. 3, I go a guy on the Bills now, that quarterback guy, that Josh Allen guy. I think he's pretty good. He'll be number 3 for me. 2, Reggie White. Have to give a shout out there for the Eagles. Then number 1, I didn't figure either of you would have him, although he is a Hall of Famer.
I wanted to put him on my list, but I thought that probably.
If we did an all-time Twitters of the best Twitters of all time, he might be.
If we could keep it to just football,
that's right.
But you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I do get a kick out of OJ, like giving fantasy football advice. Like people
he's great at fantasy football. He won his league last year.
Remember when he came on with the Pat Mahomes decked out for Halloween?
Yeah.
He was dressed up as Pat
True
Mahomes.
revelation. I peek into his Twitter. I cannot follow him. I cannot.
Yeah,
I just don't want
I
anybody
don't
popping up
follow
and
him
seeing I just can't do it.
I just admitted it and got it out of the way.
Okay.
That I follow him. So I can't, it's funny. It just cracks me up. And you know, never mind. I'm just kidding. Number 1, John Randall. I go John Randall for the Vikings. And if you watch like the football life of John Randall, I mean, one of the hardest working guys you ever saw, and he's 6'1". He was tiny coming into the NFL, barely got an opportunity. The pride of Texas A&M Kingsville, for those who don't know. Ooh. So John Randall gets my number 1 today.
Hall of Famer.
Number 4, I also have one player from each team, sadly. I tried to go no Eagles, but that didn't happen. Number 4, Frank Wycheck. Number 3, Deshaun Jackson. Number 2, Terrell Owens.
New T.O. would be on there. Brian loves him some T.O.
And number 1, Brett Favre.
Frank Wycheck.
Brett Favre.
Frank Wycheck, man.
The tank.
What do you have going on over there? You are
big
you're
boy.
Hilarious. Wait, who's your number 1? I just got
Brett Favre.
You took me off of Favre in Favre. Have you seen the news lately?
I don't care.
We've had OJ Favre conversation. That's the bingo card of Sports Talk Radio right there, isn't it?
Does that mean we have to get to a break or something? Is that probably close, huh?
Wow.
Frank Wycheck.
Yeah, the tank.
You said it. I get it. The Pro Bowler. He was
great
okay.
Player. Did you like him when he did Titans games with Mike Keith?
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, he was good.
Of all the Titans players you could get, that's
I don't
almost
so.
Brock Heward for the Seahawks.
Love Brock Heward.
I was close to having Eddie George on this list from that one year here in Memphis.
Yeah. Frank Wycheck.
The tank.
You're hilarious. Who told? Somebody had to tip you off to Frank Wycheck. No. What are we doing here? So you just off top when we were making lists, you just decided Frank Wycheck.
The tank.
The tank.
Bryant's list was so good it made us forget about Deshaun Jackson.
I love Deshaun Jackson
on his list.
One of the best kickoff return men to ever play the game of football.
That play with
Michael
receiver.
Vick.
He's also a great wide receiver.
In the Vick Deshaun Jackson combo,
fantastic duo.
Yeah.
I got a good combo for you tonight. 2 places. The New Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown, and a perfect place for a group of really any size, from 5 to 100. Let the commissary do all the work for you, and you have your organization, your group represented there. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, the slow way, the Memphis way. If you're craving an easier way to order that to watch Monday Night Football tonight, text commissary right now at 33733. Start with the nachos, or the tamales, the cheese plate, or the smoked chicken wings. That's for starters, and then dig into the ribs, the shoulder, chopped or pulled, on a sandwich, on a plate, at either location, the New Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar. Well, we're going to get outside and stay out there this fall soon. Let's get through this week. Or the original in Germantown. All the sides come with every meal: beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. You can order it by the pound, or a 6-pack, or an 8-pack, or a 12-pack. And coming soon, With a break in the weather, we'll be talking about the Brunswick stew. And, of course, as we get to the holiday season, the holiday bird. All the food so good and save room for dessert. Quite a challenge. Best lemon icebox pie anywhere. And the terrific banana pudding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com. In Collierville and Germantown and those party areas. Perfect for your group to be represented and have a great time there at either place, the new Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown.
I think I know why you brought up Frank Wycheck, so you could say the Tank, right?
The Tank.
Frank the Tank.
That's right.
So, you ever seen Old School?
No.
Oh, come on. Classic Will Ferrell movie. Classic Will Ferrell movie.
I'm sorry.
We got to get you hip, then. You don't know about Frank the Tank? You know about Frank the Tank Wycheck, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not whoever else you're talking about.
Good for you. Well, Will Ferrell's character in Old School, Frank the Tank.
Okay.
We're gonna have to do this another day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on this show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Hey sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Monday night report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Minnesota-Philly, it's a monster side and total. Minnesota-Philly, critical information confirmed. Plus Thursday, Pittsburgh-Cleveland. Saturday, early release, 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0, free on recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Minnesota-Philly is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. Call the recorded message line, 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
So what do a cheeseburger, pet food, and a 6-pack of IPA have in common? When you order them with DoorDash, you don't just get the things you love, you support the community you love too. From stores and restaurants to the Dashers driving around, every purchase provides an opportunity for everyone involved. With DoorDash, there's a neighborhood of good in every order. Get 50% off your first order of $12 or more, up to $15 value when you use code RADIO22 at checkout. Limited time offer, terms apply.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to embrace adventure like never before in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $339 a month or $26,390. Get dramatic performance off-road, on-road, and everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross, $409 a month or $31,085. And breakout and standout in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. With 7 seating capacity, we Gossett at $419 a month or $31,605. Plus, peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.44 APR, 500 military rebate, 4,900 down. Sport NU 017062, MSRP 27,140. Cross PC 00695, MSRP 31,585. Outlander NZO 84,348, MSRP 32,105. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is a damn fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on. The man of the hour has an air of great
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
A couple of things I learned today having to do with college football. One, Dallin Hayden from Christian Brothers. 17 carries, 108 yards, and a TD over the weekend in Ohio State's rout of Toledo, 77-21. But good for him to see him be able to do that right when he gets on campus. That's massive. That's massive. And the fact that he's getting playing time. Also, and more prominently for the local area when we're talking about the AAC, Houston, once again, under Dana Holgorsen, just proving that they're not going to live up to expectations. 1-2, 2 losses in a row against teams they're going to have to play who are middle of the pack to bottom of the pack in that conference that they're going to go play in the Big 12. So Dana Holgorsen just proving that this Houston team is not going to be what they were cracked up to be.
I learned today Tennessee and Florida will be the CBS game. It will be the game day like I thought all summer that it would be. But it doesn't feel like it did in the 90s because Florida's not very good, and they have a loss. So much for the AR being the Tim Tebow or the Cam Newton of this generation. He's not. But how is Utah ranked ahead of Florida still? They played 2 weeks ago. Florida won. Utah shouldn't be ahead of the Gators.
Utah beat San Diego State, who's way down in southern Utah. What? I don't get AP poll though. I'm with you mostly on this. I try to stay away from
too early to lose your mind.
Yeah, to worry about it because it's just
the only poll that matters is when we release the first CFP.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. I mean, there's some pride.
The only poll that matters is election day.
There's some programs that take a lot of pride in AP Top 25.
Said every time by the guy that's behind.
Yeah. What I could have done without Trey Lance, broken ankle. Now there is, some news in regards to him going to get surgery.
It's awful.
Successful surgery on his injured right ankle. He had a fibula fracture and ligament disruption. And if you saw the play and saw what his foot looked like after the whole thing, it didn't look very good. And
this is going to be the start of bus talk. He
That's
hadn't
not
busted.
fair.
He got hurt.
It's not fair. I think you can say medical bust in these situations, but damn. To have this type of major injury this early in his career, right when he's going to get the starting job, looked fine. And by the way, looked fine before he sustained the injury. But Jimmy G, people are going to push their narratives, push their agendas about this 49ers team and what Jimmy G can do with them.
I could have done without the Cardinals' effort other than Kyler Murray. He can't play defense. He can't block for himself. He can't throw it to himself. They have nothing around him. And his generational greatness could be being wasted. Their GM, they need to put it in his contract for him to study more and get some help around the franchise player. Never mind what he's selling in jerseys. What he's doing on the field, it's breathtaking.
Also, speaking of another guy doing what he should on the field and not getting his contract yet, Lamar Jackson throwing the ball well too, and also broke the record for 11th 100 plus rushing yards for a quarterback. The 11th game he's done that in, broke Mike Vick's record.
And he will get all the blame if they come up short, and he can't. Two Monday Night Football games we're watching also. Braves and Mets dueling it out. Braves host the Nats, Mets in Milwaukee. Look at that pitching matchup. Scherzer versus Burns in Milwaukee.
No Cardinals tonight, but what's their magic number?
8.
How about that? But that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Joe Skates, who was fantastic, David Cobb, and Evan Barnes for their contributions to the program. For Brian, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road.